Hola. Just going to wait on Lisa Transcendence Brown to come in. How's it going, everybody? How's it going, everybody? Happy LIONSGATE. Happy 8/8. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Aloha. Hey, Lori Hartram. How you doing? Good to see everybody. A lot of powerful energies coming down. Good timing. It's 9 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii. 3 o'clock New York. 4:30 in Adelaide, South Australia. Lisa's coming in. I think last time she ran a couple of minutes late. I'm sure she'll be here in the next couple of 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever. It's all perfect. It's all divine timing. Yeah, a lot of powerful transformation going on. Lisa's been writing some really good stuff, as a lot of people have over the last couple of weeks, especially. 8 p.m. in England. We got Edmonton in the house, 1 p.m., 9 p.m. in Austria. 7 a.m. Thursday in New Zealand. Yes, it is 9 p.m. in Austria. 5 a.m. in Sydney. We got a world participation here. We got Illinois, Dallas, Texas. The Netherlands is 9 p.m. 6 p.m. in Brazil. Bom dia. Argentina, Los Angeles, Ireland's 8 p.m. Let's see. Germany's 9 p.m.
Hey, dude.
What's happening? What's happening?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Sorry, I had to switch computers again. I keep forgetting my Mac won't work. It's like, really?
It's all good. It's all good.
I wanted to come outside with you guys today so you can see the mountain. So
right on. We already got 263 people in the house.
Yay,
from all over the world. We were just doing a little country and time roll call. But I mean, it's all over. We got India. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 in India.
Oh, hi, everybody. I know. I got, I don't know if my team is up, but they were like, we're getting up at 3. They get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to come join sometimes. So sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not, because they're over in Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful people.
Well, they're doing a great job. You've been putting out some good stuff. And I went to your website. I went to your Facebook page. Yeah, y'all been doing some good stuff, man. You've been putting some good stuff out.
They're awesome. They're helping me accomplish the ridiculous amount of work we have.
Right. There seems to be a frequency of collaboration that's starting to take hold, starting to anchor in.
Yeah.
I love that. And let me just say thank you for coming on again and honoring us with your presence. I'm
going to have hair blowing.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I mean, I woke up this morning. I appreciate. I love the fact that you guys are doing this, and that we all get to be a part of all of that too, because it's really important, as we all know. So a lot of people are starting to understand the importance of it, and it's taken a while. So and we're still going. There's still a lot. There always will be, but my goodness. Go ahead.
Well, you put out quite a few things in the last 10 days, I would say.
Well, that's small for me. I used to.
Is it really?
I've backed off a lot the last few years. I used to write like 5 and 6 and 10 and 15 and 20 and 30 times a day for people.
Wow.
And then teaching, re-educating according to higher consciousness, it's a constant thing. It's because you have to completely rework your entire consciousness.
Right.
And so getting people present and sharing the information of what all this was that doesn't make any sense, that people don't want to believe, and the dedication that it takes on our part it is immense, because we do have to do it all day, every day. Because in the old days it was like, at this time I'll do it, or at this time, and it's like it's a 24/7.
There's no time clock on the ascension.
No, and everything's very different. But it's so, I woke up really early this morning to the intention. At first it was intense, and it's like it just goes from intense to immense. Codes coming through, and it was cool, because I don't usually get up that early unless I have a lot to accomplish, and I'll just say, universe, wake me up, crack of dawn, wake me up, and I wake up, and I get up and start going. But I was able to look outside and see Sirius.
Oh, wow.
And watch it turning and all the different colors and stuff, because you can see these things with your human eyes now.
Oh, wow.
And then as soon as I connected with Sirius, it was like, boom, here we went.
Well, speaking of codes, you put one out a few days ago that was a kind of a general state of the ascension, and it was talking about integration or anchoring, and then kind of I forget the words you used, but like an activation. In other words, putting it into motion, and it was a really good. You talked about what was happening in a general way, but it was very positive. I'm feeling that energy, and I know a lot of people are, on these shows and in the audience.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, some people are having a really rough time with their body or their physical reality because they don't understand what everything is. And when we don't understand, we tend to, how we perceive things really dictates how we do the journey, which is why it's so important, which is why we all do what we do, is to assist with grace and ease, assist with accepting this, and not only accepting it, but really getting on board, because the higher we go, the more everybody's got to step up. So and I don't know anything until I see it. I don't know anything until I experience it. It's a part of the purity process, is that we share what our access, what we see, what we know, what we experience inside, and our access to all these other infinite dimensions and stuff. And usually when I'll see timelines years in advance, I usually won't put it out, because of how the human aspect takes it.
Yeah.
But this time it was appropriate, because it's basically to one, show people how accelerated everything's about to be. We thought it was accelerated before.
Well, and what you said was, the codes have fully integrated or fully come in. And
they do, as we integrate them. They've integrated into Gaia. So those of us who are gatekeepers and grid keepers, I'll just explain a little bit. Yeah. We connect with our bodies up to Gaia and the universe and cosmically and the different planets and all those things, because it's all inside of our body. So we're able to basically, from inside of our body, our consciousness expands into all these places and spaces. We're able to occupy all this place and space and see all the information simultaneously while functioning in this physical reality right here, which takes a lot through the years. But it's integrated when we stop and we integrate. It's integrated when it becomes our priority to integrate. It's integrated in Gaia But now what happens is each person has to integrate those codes. They're available.
Yeah.
And they've been delivered, but basically they've been activated inside of our body because of the frequencies we're in. And how this works is basically the higher the cosmic frequencies we hit, the more capabilities everybody has. Yeah. The higher the cosmic frequencies we have become available, which are constant now. I mean, gateways open like every 2 to 3 days. That's unheard of. And it's gateway after gateway after gateway. And I started calling them heart gateways recently, so people could understand, because we're watching everybody's hearts just like blow wide open finally. Wow. And for me, it's kind of cool because, you know, we went through all this in the beginning, if you will, of our journey when we woke up. And now we're going through it again with the collective. So it's like falling in love with Gaia all over again and falling in love with everything all over again. So it's quite exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, that's what I meant. You said all the codes have been delivered. So, and that is incumbent upon us, right?
But it's each person's responsibility. And each person integrates them when it becomes their priority. Yeah. Each person integrates them when their body or their physical. Okay, so on a soul level, everybody's got to wake up. Yeah. Okay, and so, but to integrate the immensity of these codes, until we actually acknowledge that we're ready to integrate, they just float around in our field, and our body goes haywire. Yeah. And so we actually we don't have to choose, because if we don't choose, then that's our ego saying, I don't want this. And then something goes sideways to force us to, you know, so it's, you know, all this is about our ego aspect. But yeah, I mean, they're all available. Now it's how each person lives their life. Now, you know, and it has been this way for years. The dimensions available, as each person embodies those codes of those aspects and becomes that, you become that aspect, and you merge them all inside. So once we go through physical body ascension and enter multidimensionality on a whole new way, then we start oversoul embodiment, which takes years, because you're merging every aspect of the oversoul inside of your body too. It's an immense process. Wow. And it takes a lot of dedication and commitment on our part, because all of us have roles to fulfill here. All of us have humanitarian roles that we are to fulfill, and they don't look like anything like we thought they were going to.
Nothing does. And there seems to be some type of more visible relationship between, you know, removing shadows, or whatever you want to call it.
I don't removing the, anymore.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you told me that last time. I didn't remember. Yeah, but you know, when you were, I guess, a veil, like removing veils that you have within yourself, and there seems to be some type of relationship that's becoming more visible that has to do with creativity. Okay. You know.
So creative, yes, it's all about creativity, because each person is going to recreate their entire reality from scratch. You birth your realities from within your body. Through the light codes that you integrate, your body will actually start giving birth to light codes. Your belly will blow up with photonic light, and you'll wake up with new information. Our body blows up, it'll expand, it'll contract, and how, depending on which part of the process we're in, is how the body does, because each part of the process has a different way that consciousness correlates to the physical body.
No wonder my stomach's been sticking out.
That's right. Yeah. It'll get huge. You'll go from 0 to 10 to pregnant and like be like,
I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you know,
you're gonna birth your new realities with your body. Your pelvis will expand. I mean, your body will prepare itself for birth. Literally, you'll have contractions. You'll be breathing like an idiot. It'll be like, it gets intense, you know. When I tell people this, they're like, oh no. And then, you know, the girl that she flies over, and we do a lot of work together, she's awesome. I told her this, and then, you know, this last time she was here, finally after a year and a half, she's got this big old belly walking around with her hand on top of it, and it hurt. I mean, you're literally giving birth along with Gaia. You're literally birthing your new realities through the light codes that you're integrating. And when you get up, you have new information, new knowledge, it's the new earth. You birth new earth from inside of you through the realities that you create. It's pure source light.
Yeah.
And so notice the words we use, source creator. It's creator energy. Okay. Yeah. But you are the source of all creation from inside of you. And as you start to, as when I say you, Todd, I mean all of us. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's just words. I know, but human aspects, I call them human aspects because that's what represents the ego for me. That's how once you expand into the galaxies and you look down on this earth and you watch everybody run around, it's just a bunch of little unconscious humans. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, wow, you know, they can't share, they can't get along, they can't be kind to each other. And so it is a bunch of humans running around that don't have a clue. And then our job, if you will, is to bring each person. We actually magnetize and pull people into consciousness. We pull entire realities into consciousness. It's huge.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So
yeah, we did.
Go ahead.
We did it. Well, no, I was going to say we did a show earlier today with Katie Indicrow, and it was kind of a group, process, a group ritual. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but you could see the energy, the portal, the vortex, whatever of the crowd. And at the point where we disengaged, something went, there was like an energy burst and half the people fell out of, there was like 150 people in the room, about half of them fell out of the room. And came in. Yeah, so it was a validation. It was really cool. It was really interesting.
You'll be surprised. We actually are the portals. We're the cosmic portals.
Yeah.
We actually can bring people through, so like anytime we bring somebody into our field of consciousness, they get to experience our reality. The vibrancy, the colors, the skies over my house are different than the skies everywhere else. It's my weather. It's my sky. It's my plasma field, so we're the gatekeepers, the grid keepers. We're the anchor points, all located all over the planet. And as each person embodies all of their higher self aspects, not just the one that we become aware of when we're physically ascending. When we're physically ascending, it's merging with your higher self. But then once you merge with your higher self, and then, there's a whole process that comes into play as then you have to start. This is where you start recognizing all the programming. This is when you start recognizing and you start getting your realities aligned, and you start aligning things yourself, and you bring everything into, and this is where you start, we all, humanity, to actually see multidimensionality, but in a very different way. It's through being able to see how things materialize, how physical matter takes form, how you can actually participate, in opening a portal and walking through it and coming out in another reality, but it takes time based upon your physical body density. You got to clear the program within your body. And so every time we go through a massive activation of light, then we have to integrate. My whole life, ever since I started doing this, has been built around integrating first, and then we learn how to function all over again. And so integration comes first, and then I get up and do all my realities, and I accomplish and all that kind of stuff because they're easier.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, for me, it wasn't that easy. It was beyond intense. Because of how strong my ego was and how much had to be broken down inside of me, because we have an inner matrix that has to completely break down and be rebuilt. And it's according to the crystalline matrix and the energetic matrix and all these different matrices, the plasma. It's a bit different, but we have all these different matrix systems, and they link up to our Merkaba when we're going through physical body ascension. And then that will break down and recode itself and then turn into our Stargate system. And that's where you get to move into the cosmos and all kinds of other stuff. It's a progressional thing, if you will. It's a part of our evolution of our DNA, higher consciousness DNA. And so the frequencies. Go ahead, sorry.
And that, no, you're good. That integration, I didn't want to get past it. That integration you're talking about, that's what I mean. What does that look like? I mean, because there's a lot of people waking up right now. I mean, really, you can see it happen.
Mass collective.
Yes, yeah.
And you awaken to confusion. You awaken to all of your lack of integrity. You awaken to a lot of things at first. And one is starting to realize that the physical world out there doesn't match up to what you thought reality was supposed to be, and you're no longer happy. No matter what you were seeking, it no longer fulfills you. And it's a part of the process of our heart starting to open. And what will start to happen? I'm gonna go through some of the processes if that helps. Okay. So okay, because it does, because we have different stages along the way. What will start to happen is we'll start to feel everything, and it'll become too much. For a lot of us who start looking for what's wrong with us, which nothing's wrong with us, we're moving from a linear, live from our head reality to a vibrational where we feel everything. Well, in the beginning, we feel too much. We feel everything. We feel every person around us. We feel, and that's because the body is holding so much that's out of tune. And the body has to clear all those programs, which is immense. It's immense fear. It's immense, lack of power. It's for a while we're affected by everything. And when I was going through this, we'll move to the words if I'm an empath or a sensitive, but we eventually have to let go of those words. I wrote a thing the other day about being a sensitive. We're not sensitives. It's your senses are becoming enhanced so you can feel. It's your senses are becoming enhanced so that you can actually communicate and exist as an electromagnetic field. And the frequencies, the vibrations are so high on the earth now. If everything isn't completely in tune, then it's going to show up within our body and within our physical reality. And the physical body can only take so much. And then it says, I've had enough. And then it starts what appears to be going haywire. Anytime the body's not doing what we think it's supposed to be doing, because we have a human perception of what the human body, how it's supposed to work. But when it comes to multidimensionality, it doesn't work that way anymore. Because every cell has to break down a linear cellular structure and move to a quantum one, which is sacred geometry.
All right.
Every cell of our body, when your body's going quantum, you have to be laying down, you have to be asleep, you have to be resting. There's a lot of rest necessary for your body to go from linear to quantum. And it's years and years and years. It's not an overnight process, which is why it's so important, because if we don't listen, if we don't want to hear any of this, if we keep trying to control the body, if we keep trying to override the body, there comes a part of the process where we can override the human body when our light body kicks in. And that's a very different part of the process. Okay. But for the human body, it wasn't built for multidimensionality. So it's got to completely break everything down on a cellular level and reconstruct it completely, because your organs work differently. Everything is different for the multidimensional body. And so our bodies weren't equipped, if you will, going from a 2-strand to a 12 strand, and then way beyond there when you get into much higher consciousness and the different galaxies and all that kind of stuff. Our physical bodies are constantly rewriting our DNA, rewriting our genetics. And so, I will tell people, what do you think is going to happen to your body when it starts rewriting its DNA? It's not going to work the way you think it's going to, because your body is intelligent. It knows what it needs. We're to listen to the body, honor the body. And one of the things our body needs is nature, a lot of nurturing, a lot of self-care, a lot of alone time, because when you are alone, I call it me, we, be time. Because when you have me time, then you learn how to be. And as you learn how to be, you become we. You merge on a soul level.
Makes sense.
And in order for us to function from our very highest and most expanded place in space, in the beginning, we have to be alone so we can go that deep inside to connect. Because our soul is deep, 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 deep inside of us, beneath everything else. Beneath the fear, beneath the tears, beneath the anger, beneath it all. And that's what all of this is about, is all of these vibrational frequencies are taking everybody deeper inside, inside, connect on a deeper level. The integration process requires a ridiculous amount of sleep. And when our light body first kicks in, we don't need a lot of sleep. So it'll flip-flop. When we hit the crystalline phase, full on, then it's sleeping again. But light body phase is for us to get our reality set up. Each person, when their light body kicks in, they have plenty of energy. They can go all day long. I used to call it my Energizer bunny on crack. It's when we hit the gamma. I mean, I was like bang on, boom, 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 and non-stop. And I didn't need any sleep. And I was like energized, and because you're operating on a gamma light body at that point, gamma frequencies. And it's like being plugged into an electrical socket. You'll be laying in bed. You will, if you haven't felt this, Todd, you will feel it because it's okay.
But
it will become. Go ahead.
Yeah, what you're describing, no, because I think there's a lot of people at this level right now.
Yes,
what you were describing, I'm not saying straight crystalline, but what you were describing is it would go up and down. Like there's times I'm exactly like what you're talking about, especially very recently, which I've had a lot of other people are getting them. But then other times, I think it was yesterday, I went and had lunch and I woke up and I took a nap, woke up at 7:30. I was going to lay down for 30 minutes. And I was like, what's going on?
That's photonic light. Okay, so we have all these different vibrational frequencies that are constantly activating, and our body reacts differently. So does our physical reality. So gamma. Okay, so most people don't know, and I didn't know these things until I got here and I experienced it and the information became available. Okay. New Earth operates at a gamma frequency. Well, the only way for the human to achieve a gamma frequency is to work with balancing out the brainwave state, work with different frequencies and tones, get their body's vibration up, and sleep, because your whole body has to change. The body, I call it a body wave. It's a brainwave state that the whole body has to achieve. To walk in gamma frequencies, that's what the light body is. It's gamma frequencies running through your body and stimulating everything. It's what stimulates the sexual organs. So that sexual energy goes from being a human lack or need to your. Okay, so I'm going to explain this my way to make a point, because this is how we do it. We have to simplify.
Let's do it.
That sexual energy, it's like immaculate conception. It actually, how do I say that? The sexual energy is what seeds the new reality inside of your body, so that then your sacral will actually give birth to that new reality. Your sexual energy then becomes your creation energy. It's seeding. I don't know how else to say this. Okay.
Yeah.
It's impregnating your body.
Yeah, it's like the force. Yeah.
It's the force. And eventually, once you've gone through a lot of this, you will actually go through cosmic orgasms, where your body will be laying here and it's extremely pleasurable. But it's what it does is it goes through our body. It will actually stimulate all the nerve endings in the body, which is where everybody's pain starts coming from, because the body's got to clear all of that emotional pain. But it's not of this existence. It's all your existences.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get stuck on who did what to who, or when in their life caused that. That's only a marker point for a reality that we created to reinforce our separation within ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It's the experience that we agreed to on a soul level to turn around and love ourselves back into wholeness, and to love ourselves so much. And all of that represented our separation. Our separation is from ourselves as pure source light, as source, as creator. You get into the divine creator and all this stuff. The only thing is humans will use the words and they'll wear them out.
Yeah.
When in essence, when you say the words of divine creator, it's an essence or a presence that comes through you. It's extremely sacred.
Yes.
It's not a ego walking around, God, goddess, creator, patting each other on the back and all this kind of stuff. It's a very sacred experience within ourselves that we have. It's a union on a soul level that goes on inside of us. And so we don't taint it with human words. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So,
yeah, you're right.
But the body, when it starts being activated to gamma, and I can look at my entire human experience and see how my whole life I was waking up, but I didn't know that because I didn't actually start to wake up until 2008, 2009, 2010. you know, when you start going through the heavy duty stuff. And, you know, it was intense. It was rough. My whole body shut down. You know, I'd spent a whole life completely asleep, other than knowing I wasn't supposed to be on this planet, if you will. Because when you're a star being, you don't even want to be here, you know. So we have to go through all of that stuff too. But when gamma activates in the body, we think we're having a heart attack. We think we're having a stroke. It's intense the first couple times, and then a lot of times it'll happen in our sleep state. It'll ease people into it. They'll have this dream that will stimulate the entire body, and it can go on for a half hour or an hour. So it's not just like a boom, whatever. The first time it happened to me, it scared me to death, but I also knew everything was okay. It's exciting and scary all at the same time. You know, so, but
polarities.
You have enough consciousness within yourself to know that everything's okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so your little human can run around, or your little ego can run around. When I say human, I mean ego. And run through the fears. But in essence, it's actually, that's why a lot of people go into some sexual stuff, is it actually stimulates the sexual stuff. And if we have any distortions, we play them out in our physical reality.
Yeah.
And so I spent my whole life playing out sexual distortions, because that's, you know, I spent my whole life playing out distortions. So when it was time to wake up, you know, I had intensity for a year and a half. I mean, beyond intensity, you know. And then once you wake up one day and it's just all gone.
Yeah.
You've been birthed anew. You look younger. We age because we're age. Okay, how do I say this? When we age fast, right before our bodies die and go through all the ego deaths, and so we actually start looking older. So I gained, like, I looked young. Then I gained like 10 years overnight, and I looked really old, really rough. And then I went through hell, because photonic light will actually give you the baggy eyes and blow up under your skin, and your whole body, your whole lymphatic system, all your organs get reworked. Everything gets done. There's crystals in the body that activate, and they start a purification process of the physical body. So everything we've ever put into our bodies, everything we've ever breathed, everything we've ever ingested has to be detoxed from our body. Every toxic emotion has to be detoxed from our body. And so when I had to start detoxing, and I stayed in a rigorous detox for a year and a half.
What'd you do for the detox?
I do Cleanse Smart. It's my favorite, because I can take 2 in the morning and 2 at night and keep my body maintained. It's a balance thing for me. I didn't do like the 3 days really. It was too shocking and too harsh on my system. And so I've been in detox since 2010. Every day. I detox every day. You have to keep your body completely clean. Light body starts the process of detoxing for physical body ascension to occur. First, we have to ascend our consciousness and hold it there long enough, and then it's time for the body to come through. Well, the body didn't hold the vibration. So once I went through ascending my consciousness, being a gatekeeper for 2012, going through 2011, I had to be fully awake by 2011. So it was intense. To be a gatekeeper. And the thing about it is, I didn't know any of this stuff. I fell backwards through it without a clue. Once we came through that gateway, then physical body ascension became an actual ability that we achieved. And so then it was time to bring my body through. In my universe, I'll call it my universe, because you become the universe, you don't have a universe anymore. You become the team, you don't have a team anymore. You become pure source. There is no outside source. It's us. You know, you become all of these things, and there's no separation anymore. Where was I? I got lost.
No, you were talking about the cleansing, so the toxic detox, but
the toxins, all the emotions.
I mean, because my body's when you said ingest and anything you've ever, you know, drank or whatever,
every exchange you've ever had, this is vibrational. Yep.
And see, my body, you know, over the last, it's been getting progressively louder, but I've noticed it's been really loud the last couple of weeks. It's like, hey man, you don't need to do that. Or you don't need to eat that, or things like that. And I'm going, am I hearing this? And I shouldn't be asking myself after
It's
all
your
this
guidance.
time.
Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
higher self talking to you, but our ego doesn't like it. It's like, I don't want to listen to this.
No, but it's making me pay for it. That's the thing. I can't
It's
handle
going
it.
to.
It
You
is.
won't
It's
be
like
able to.
I'm thinking, am I shedding stuff? Am I, removing layers, or what? Or am I?
You are. You're going to drop. It's called dropping density. You're going to drop a ridiculous amount of density that was in your cellular body. And, like this morning when we got whammied, the first thing is to the bathroom, and my body's dumping. I'm like, and I'm excited. I'm like, yes.
Well,
Because
as long as we're getting, I totally relate to that the last week. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, it's Syrian and Lyran. It's a Syrian and Lyran detox that kicks in June. And it runs all the way through the Lyran, the LIONSGATE gateway, which is today. Happy LIONSGATE, everybody.
Yeah.
Look, we're on 666. That's like one of my favorite numbers because of what it means.
There you go.
Everybody else has issues with numbers, and we love them because they all have amazing messages and stuff. When I came in here, my emails were at 10,888. So 888 for the LIONSGATE.
Right on.
Do I have too much background noise? I wore a headset.
No, you're good.
Is it okay? I've got cows and horses and lawnmowers, but I wanted to come outside with you guys.
No, it's beautiful. Absolutely.
Okay, detoxing. Let me tell you about this. So we ascend our consciousness, and we become aware of what an ascended consciousness is. It's holding a higher state of consciousness with our physical body, but then our physical body says it's got to come through. Well, when I went through this first, so when I have to go way back, so bear with me here.
Yeah.
When I went through this, it was okay. Now get your body. At first, when I ascended my consciousness and maintained and held this state of consciousness for a couple years.
Right.
Okay. I was going through all these different cleansing processes and getting my body clean and all that kind of stuff. Once I got my body clean, my light body kicked in. So I kind of did a lot of things backwards. Other people do it the other way. And so there's different ways to do
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So mine was the opposite because I had run my body in the ground. My whole body shut down. I was in organ failure, congestive heart failure. I had every condition known to man. And all that is the body dying because it can't integrate light. Okay, now the thing about it is, so I'm going to flip-flop all over the place because that's called quantum too.
Right on.
Our body needs our light in order to live. And as humans, we don't understand that your light is your soul. Photonic light, as a star being, as a soul, we have to do more than one part of this journey. And one is on a soul level, which is where it takes you deeper inside. But a lot of people went the galactic route first. Okay? If you went the galactic route first, then once you get to a certain point, it's time to go deeper inside. For me, I was a walk-in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went the soul route first, and then I came around to the galactic stuff to kind of like come full circle, if that makes any sense. So I went deep inside first, and then I went galactic in order to complete my different processes and all. But there's an immense detox process that occurs to get your body's vibration up. Once I came through ascending my consciousness and holding the state of consciousness, the divine feminine, if you will. Then I had about a month of no higher self guides. You feel like you're abandoned. There's nobody to talk to. Nobody's answering you anymore. And it's like the words were, there's nobody to ask. You have to do this. You know this. You have to do it now. So now, then it's getting up and doing it. But then the divine masculine kicks in. And that's your doing. Love is who we are. It's our purest form, but it's not human love. It's a very pure love. That's our being energy. Okay. Then our light, that gamma frequency, that's our doing energy. That's where we get up and we accomplish and we do. And the light body kicks in so we can accomplish and do and get ourselves out in the world and share our light with the world. So the light is our doing energy, if you will. Now, I'm breaking it down just to make a point.
No, I like it.
Okay, so love is being and light is doing. but not really, because technically they're same. But we break them down to understand that when you're filled with pure source light, you can be and do simultaneously all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so learning how to be first, you come through the divine feminine. Divine masculine activates through the divine feminine. So you can't activate the divine masculine until you've gone through the divine feminine, because you have to go through the purity first.
Yeah. I learned that about, I think it was on the eclipse. So I was on my knees in the hotel room crying, like when I was homeless. It was, and I just finally just said, I surrender, take everything.
That's okay. So that has to occur. That's ego death.
Yeah.
That's ego death for physical body ascension to start. And we do get dropped to our knees. I was dropped to my knees many, many times. It's what breaks our ego down.
Yeah.
It's also located in the body and in the spine.
Yeah.
And so everything activates from our spine, our kundalini. We have all these different things. Crystalline starts in the base of the spine, but it's also in every organ. It's in the feet. It's under the skin. That's why everybody breaks out. You know, star particle activations. We have all these things that go on. We get dropped to our knees because it's basically what breaks our ego down. The more, each energy has a different trait, if that makes sense. And so eventually they all merge. You don't have a separation between the divine feminine and masculine. They become one while you birth your divine child, which is your innocence, which is your beauty, which is the magnificence, which is the magic, which brings you into alchemy.
Yeah.
Because you're creating, you're transforming, you're able to transform anything to light. Then we reach a point once we've created from a pure place, completely pure, no ego. What was the word? Oh, everything you touch turns to gold. You'll hit this place where it's like everything you touch turns to gold, and then it's just like everything flourishes, everything is abundant, everything, and it becomes really easy, but you are working. You know, I have a lot of people ask me, you know, what am I going to do about a job and all this kind of stuff? You're going to work in service just like the rest of us do, which is why it's so important for people to start to respect this and respect each other and move beyond the judgment, because each person is going to be in this place too. And when they are, they'll understand it. So that's why we re-educate everybody, so they don't have to go through the harsh and the rough and the intense like all of us did. That's why we share the information and the knowledge, but we make it available, and we don't really care. We put it out there. We let everybody go figure it out for themselves. There's no more hand holding. There's no more cuddling. There's no more doing it for anybody. It's been interesting lately because people are having to start to think for themselves. And, you know, we're inundated with emails from people saying, will you do this for me and do that? No, we won't. Do it for yourself. You know, I even changed the name from tech support to tech guidance, because I'm going to point them inside. Go figure it out yourself, because there's so much. I can't click on this. Can you send me the link for that? No. Everything's available. Go figure it out, because that's part of coming into full consciousness. You have to learn to figure things out for yourself. But right now with Collective's awakening, it's ridiculous how much I can't do this is coming out of people. Mind blowing.
I've been having that conversation with my higher aspects, and I've already conceded and surrendered on that one too. So I'm not sweating it anymore. I'm just, you know, I'm doing what I can do at my pace.
We have to let a lot of stuff go. Yeah. We pace ourselves. We don't have any, you know, the time constraints change. You remove the time constraints and you do it. You know, we don't have, if you'll notice, Todd, we don't have, well, I'm going to take this day off, take that day. You work every day.
Yeah.
You work at a slower pace. You work very fast at a slower pace. Do you notice that?
Yes.
You accomplish more, but do you notice how you need to have people gone? Get out of my way. So
I do. Yes, I do. Very much so.
You can't accomplish with people around, because that actually brings a separation of time back in, and it interferes with your 0 point field unless everybody's in creation and accomplish mode.
Yeah, I find it more and more difficult, almost unbearable, and I'm trying to stay in my field. And I'm like going, is this me? Or you know? And then I'm going, no, No, it's not. So
Your
it's
field
becoming
has to be clear. You can't have the distortions transmitting through the field and getting in the way. So you have to be able to expand your consciousness out and function from this space.
Yes.
And so you have to have a clear field and in order to keep your physical body's vibration high. So let me go back to the physical body for a moment with you. Once I went through basically starting the physical body ascension process, that can get quite intense because all the judgment, all the programs were anchored in our body.
Yeah.
And so, I had 3 days that I couldn't sit down. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. I was in so much pain as it cleared my spine. Wow. It was, and I was hanging. I had my arms up, and I was hanging from doorways, just trying to pull my spine out because it was all stuck in my spine because that's where all the programs were.
Yes.
And by the 3rd day, I'm like, oh, please knock me out, please, just. And I heard the frequency shift and the gateways open and I heard the waves come in. I'm like, oh, thank God. And I passed right out. And within a few hours, I was up and feeling awesome. Yeah. But it took 3 days for my body to clear that heavy duty programming for physical body ascension to occur. Now, the reason I say this, it took me almost a solid year for the actual physical body ascension part. And at that time, my universe was telling my human, because this is important for people to understand, which aspect are you being right now? Are you your universe or are you being your human?
Yeah.
And so my universe, anytime you're taking instructions, it's your human that's taking instructions, which is why we have to fully surrender. Because we become our higher selves, which is a universal being. And then we have the soul, the higher selves, we have all these different aspects. My universe was like, pour all your crystals in your bed, grid your bed. And I literally slept with 200 crystals I thought I was going to vibrate off this planet. It got so intense because my body's vibration wasn't high enough. People have no clue because 5th dimension, you don't have any sickness. You don't have illness. You don't have any of these things. Your body just constantly recalibrates and recodes and anchors light. You become a gatekeeper and a grid keeper. You're an anchor point, and you're constantly anchoring light with your body and transmitting it out. You become the being. You become the thing. You become the cosmic portal. You become all these things.
Yeah.
But it's constant integration. And I will say this. If we don't integrate the light of our soul, our body dies.
Yeah.
That's how physical body death occurs. And so integrating our soul and bringing our body into a higher dimensional realm, New Earth is heaven on earth, which is where souls walk around in bodies now.
Great explanations.
Okay, I'm trying to simplify this here because it gets a little bit big for the brain.
Great explanation. Yeah.
We are souls in a body.
Yeah.
But our little human ego doesn't come into play. We see it, but we don't give it any power. We just, it's like, oh, programming, clear programming. And you just walk around and you create and you accomplish and you come together, but the ego never comes in. And if it does, you deal with it. But there's a lot of alone time for this. For your body to maintain its highest state of consciousness, the more you surround yourself with affects your actual vibration and your abilities to support yourself. This is where it gets really important. Those that you surround yourself with, eventually, they become your investment. You're invested in the relationship. You're invested in the realities. You're invested in everybody is a partner. We transcend. I'm doing a course right now on transcending the entire twin matrix because it's a matrix program too. And we didn't even know this, but when we opened up the cosmic Akash, we get to see everything. And so transcending all these different matrix programs, twins are here to and I went through it. I went through the twin experience, okay? But it's to help each other clear the dualistic programming, and a twin we will allow our heart to open for that person.
Right.
To get to the rest of that programming, because they can actually help us go deeper inside, and then You clear the twin karma, which closes out the entire timeline altogether. And everybody moves into a divine union partnership, but you're a divine union within yourself.
Yes.
And it's a very different, everybody's a partner here. And it doesn't matter what body, whether you're male or female, everybody, we get past the male or female or what the body looks like or who's in what body, because that's a human thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's capable. The thing about it is you're not capable if your heart is closed. Right. You're only capable if your heart is open and you're willing to open up and share. You're willing to come together. You have to be willing and you have to actually care. Yeah. And show New Earth, if you will. And show them, you see how I'm going back all over the place.
No, I like it. I follow it. I follow the quantum. Much easier for me on that.
Well, it's geometric. So when we see everything, we see it all in everything I see in geometric. So I'm explaining each piece in part. It's what they call the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we bring all the pieces and parts together to create a picture so others can see. And so New Earth, fifth dimension, is the beginning. That's where we rebirth ourselves into and through. We awaken to, it's very surreal. It's very light. It's very happy. Mm-hmm. There's joy. We're little children. We're playing. We're excited. We're free from all the old stuff because we finally let go. And so, but that begins a whole new process within itself because now we have to grow up all over again and learn everything all over again. And so we birth ourselves as children, but as higher selves. Yeah. And so that's where a lot of people will clear out. Once we rebirth, then you don't have the wounded ego. You don't have the ego child. The I can't share, kicking and screaming, pitching a fit, the resistance teenager, and you don't have all of these things playing out within you anymore. You don't lack love anymore because physical ascension is, like humans will use the word healing. We stop using a lot of these words because they lend to a mentality, and we're not healing. We're becoming whole on a soul level. When you become whole on a soul level, your body will heal itself. Yeah. And so recalling all those fragmented aspects, recalling everywhere that you have separated off into that reality, into that relationship, into that job, into that thing, reclaiming yourself and your power and taking your power back. Once we go through an ascension of consciousness, then it's time for the body to come through. And that's where New Earth starts to become available. But there's also a lot of sleeping for a lot of people because the deeper asleep we are, the more we have to sleep.
Oh.
Masculine energy has to shut down and sleep. It doesn't meditate.
It took me a while to figure that out.
I was very strong masculine energy. I had my feminine, but I was the survivor and the wounded all at the same time,
Okay.
And so we just went plasma. You want to see?
All right. Yeah, let's see it. Those are some great videos and pictures you put up yesterday.
Oh, I actually got to go out. I don't know if you can see it. I might have to take the computer over there. Can you see it? All the lines going in the clouds and are becoming really soft. Are you able to see?
No, can't see it.
Okay, hang on.
It looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it is. Okay, so the clouds, when we're going, so we have crystalline, we have, the whole sky and everything will change. But we have strong crystalline and we've got plasma going. And so all the lines around the clouds will go. So when the lines go from around the clouds, they'll get really soft. It'll turn into pure electromagnetics, which is what's going on. You can watch the energy floating through the air and it's kind of cool. Okay.
That is cool. And I've been finding too, and I don't know if it's me, but I just feel like I'm like everybody else in the best of ways. I'm just in the transition, but and I know I've surrendered and I know I've done a lot of work and all that.
You're going to surrender constantly, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm learning that. I say it all day long now. You can ask more. I surrender.
Every moment is surrendering. You're surrendering your ego to your higher self. That's all you're surrendering. Yeah. Go ahead, sweetie. Sorry.
Well, it's a lot easier now. after the last few days anyway. But no, what I'm finding is
that one biggie one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
There
I
was
asked him to, I
but
did ask him to take me, just to get me out of here, you know.
well, and that's when the ego breaks. It's a
Yeah,
complete breakdown of the ego, and it's a part of the inner matrix collapsing for each person,
yeah,
which is what's going on. All
yeah,
the urgency and all the people trying to hurry, that's their own ego. They don't understand.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is the ego will hold out to the last minute and have to
yeah,
actually be broken. And
yeah,
so, which is why we do what we do, is because you don't have to be broken, but you have to be willing to break down
yeah, yeah. You have to be willing to be honest with yourself. Yeah, it
completely.
was powerful. It was most. Oh my God! But I was gonna say, since then,
Yeah,
a little bit more every day.
yeah.
Like even thinking about my night last night when I went for a walk and was just led to this place. Had a conversation with a friend, different things. There's less resistance. There's like externally, it's like things are just like appearing in front of me, or
Yep.
it's not like perfect and fluid all the time, but I'm seeing it and I'm recognizing. I'm like going, oh, wait a minute, and I'm hearing it and I'm feeling it more and more and more.
You're
I
going to.
guess it's
Yeah.
I'm embodying it. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what you would
Well,
call it, integrating it or something.
you're integrating. Embodiment is when you're able to be that presence and that essence fully and never compromise ever again. The ego
Oh, that's
never
good.
comes into play. Embodiment is a very pure place.
Yeah,
There's no ego tainting. There's no distortions. Everything is very simple for us. Your outside world, as you hold more light, I'm just explaining the process here. The
mm-hmm.
outside world gets easier. Our
Yeah,
inside world is where everything happens. This is where you have to go inside to access the other dimensions. The deeper you go, the further you can expand.
mm.
And so you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you'll notice that for a while we have to learn how to walk around in public again and stay deep inside. Because a lot of people, they'll separate off when they go back out, they'll go
Yeah,
unconscious again. And so it takes a while. A lot of us who do this, we pulled away for a couple years.
yeah. Good point.
We pulled, my universe said, shut the whole world out. You're going inside. And I went
Yeah,
inside and I suffered through. You're basically going through. Okay, so third dimension is hell. Now, I'm going to go metaphorically, but I'm also going to go real.
right, right.
Third dimension is hell in the physical. When you
Yeah,
haven't cleared hell from inside of you, it appears in your outside world.
yeah,
Okay. Fourth dimension is purgatory, Bardo. It's where we stay as we work through our own duality inside. So what will happen is it's also the state where we'll have one foot in each world. And then what will happen is we'll get to a certain point that we go inside as we're going through our own hell, going through our own separation, going through our own stuff inside. We're transcending
yeah,
that dimension inside of us so we can access the fifth dimension and bring it forth. Well, the fifth dimension starts for a lot of people in their dream state. You dream your realities into your physical. Well, humans, hold on, I'll find my words here. Ego, masculine. There's a feminine masculine and there's a feminine ego and a masculine ego. And then you have a feminine and a masculine higher self aspect, if you will, but then those become one.
right.
Divine masculine, divine feminine. When we are working through those lower dimensions inside of us, they will play out in our exterior reality to get our attention, to push us inside.
Yeah,
Once we go inside and clear all that up, it doesn't appear outside anymore.
yeah,
Okay, so we have to learn to dream. The more linear we were, the less we dream. It's not tangible. You can't touch it, and in the beginning we'll go, oh, but that's not reality. Come back to reality. And we don't understand, yes, that is reality. It's just not a reality that's physically occurred here. So the higher our physical body's vibration, the more we can stay expanded, the more we can bring our physical body into a higher dimensional realm. It drops
right.
the density. It recodes itself. The amount of light. Are you noticing that you feel energy inside of your body more?
Yeah.
It
I feel
will
like
be,
energy's like trying to get out, like trying to jump out of me.
it busts out of you. That's your light.
And so you're saying when
Yes.
you transcend internally to the fifth, is that when the light body comes in and then the body itself starts to
The light body
ascend
will actually activate in the fourth dimension.
in the fourth? Okay.
Because at the time that it's activating, it's trying to start building your Merkaba in order to bring your physical body through. But your consciousness has to expand into your field long enough for your Merkaba to build. When you expand your consciousness, it means, now you want to know the cool part about the Merkaba? We have many things that we do. You know, in the early days, and see, when I became Thoth, in my very beginning, then it was you bring through all the new information on the light body and the Merkaba. And nobody had ever heard of any of this before, because we have to actually do it. It was done through the divine feminine. And once you do it, you have the knowledge. And so I actually had to do it and share the knowledge on how this was done, because it's simple. Anything you do through the divine feminine is simple. If you do it through the masculine, it's going to be complicated and hard, because you're trying to use your linear head.
Yeah, that's right. I surrendered.
Surrender, baby.
I surrendered every divine feminine I've been talking to throughout my day. I surrender. Mother God, I surrender.
Yeah. Well, and each one of us, we have, you know, this is not a male or female thing. This is a soul thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I lost your place when you said
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break you up there.
You're fine.
So we were talking about the light body coming in the fourth.
So here's the cool part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're talking about the cool part of the Merkaba.
Okay, so how we actually, the easiest way to activate your Merkaba is do the opposite of what you would have done as an ego human.
Yeah, if it doesn't make sense, do it. That's what I started doing about a month ago.
But if it's hard, so yes. So energetically, it's going to be hard. You're not going to, if you would have lied, you're going to tell the truth. If you would have hidden, you're going to open up. If you would have suppressed that, you're going to not suppress it anymore. And so basically, you're going to go through the roughness of the energy itself that we held inside. You know, we couldn't speak our truth. We couldn't stand up for ourselves. And so when our hearts open, we become vulnerable, which at first we think is a lack of power, but it's actually the opposite. Through that vulnerability is where all the beauty and everything is birthed. And it's also where your power comes through, but on a divine level, a pure one. And so if your ego wants to, let's say, hide, then you say, no, I'm not going to hide anymore. I'm going to open up, and I'm going to be open. If your ego doesn't want to communicate, you have to soften, open your heart, and have to learn to communicate. So you're basically going to do the opposite of what your ego did. And what happens is that's bringing everything into consciousness. And when you bring it into consciousness, your Merkaba will actually build itself. You don't have to do anything, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
You do have to deal with the intensity of the energy.
Yeah.
So when the fear comes up, instead of believing the fear, you go, no, this is fear energy. I'm going to let it clear my body. And you clear the fear energy as programming. Most people don't understand that when you feel fear, it's your light body activating.
Well, if they did, we might do some things different. But I think people are picking up on that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's why we're supposed to share all this information, and so it can be easier for everybody, so that they can do this easier than we did, because we had to fall through it and be drugged through it all, right?
Yeah. No kidding.
Your Merkaba will build itself. It's your ascension vehicle that will actually, and when your Merkaba kicks in, it gets a bit weird, because you forget who you are. You can't process thought. Your consciousness will expand really fast. Your sugar will drop, especially with crystalline. Your sugar will drop a lot when crystalline kicks in. You will feel 30 feet tall inside of your body. It's kind of cool. You will be you can look at the ground and it'll be really far away. And it's like you're walking with space boots. And so this weird experience, you won't remember your name, you won't know how to get, for me, when I was out and about, and my Merkaba would kick in, and it would kick in the most inopportune places, which is how it works, because you're not in control. When you're not able to be in control, or foods will actually kick certain things in too. But my Merkaba would kick in, and then I wouldn't remember my name or who I was. And I'd be walking around and in this bubble, and time would change. And so, like, when I'd get on an airplane, I'd be in my bubble walking around, and everybody outside my bubble would be running really fast, but time was at a halt inside my bubble. It was really cool, because you literally walk. Your bubble is your universe. That's your whole universe right there. And I went through physical body ascension, walking around and going to the grocery store, and going to the airport and getting on a plane, and sitting in my bedroom, and over years period of time. It took a while. And each time, at first, because my body's vibration was so low, I would go unconscious. I'd pass out. Now, in the early phases, when I was deep asleep, it's called diabetes. It's called all these other things that most people have no clue what's really going on. I would go into diabetic comas because my body couldn't process my light, because I was holding so much inside of me that was out of tune, all the emotions, all the victim mentalities, all the old beliefs, my need to control, all my fears, that my body was shut down and you couldn't wake me up. And so, this is an immense and intense process. All the physical conditions that we've labeled can be explained through higher consciousness from a very opposite way.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to let go of the conditions and the labels. And, I had somebody I was working with over the weekend, and I had to stop them because they were calling something a certain condition. And I stopped them and I said, stop using the word. Tell me the emotion. And they're like, fear. I said, then it's fear. It's not a label. As long as you use the label, you believe, you lose your power.
Yeah. It is.
Just call it like it is. It's fear energy. Clear the fear and the condition will go. Clear the anger and the condition, because your body will retune itself to a higher vibration. It's a cellular cleansing that has to occur to get the lower vibrational, I'm using words to make a point here.
Yeah.
Your body has to completely transcend the third and the fourth dimension altogether so that it can live in the fifth dimension. It's a frequency bandwidth, though.
So
the body was anchored in the third and the fourth dimension because of the programming held in the body. You have to clear the programming if you want your body to ascend. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, yes, it does, because I feel that, and I see that with people. And my body's, I'm seeing it for the first time. I mean, I don't know, maybe the last 2, 3, 4 months, I don't know. I'm starting to see it more and more clear as an etheric body, basically, and that's why I said the voice is getting louder, telling me, don't do this, do that. I'm about to surrender.
Okay, well, let me say this to you. You're given every opportunity to listen, and if you don't listen, your opportunity will go away and it'll get done for you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Now, the thing about it is, it thinks it's losing something. So reassociate. One of the articles I wrote this week is about reassociate. You're not losing something, you're gaining something. So focus on what you're gaining.
Yeah.
Make it about, and anything we think we're losing, like for me, when I had to change the foods I was eating, my ego was pitching a fit. The one thing I started to do was look at myself and ask myself the question, am I doing this out of respect? And if the answer was not no, I didn't do it anymore. Because it's about deep self-respect. And we don't hold that in the beginning.
That's heavy. Yeah,
and that's how I broke that programming, because my habit was to do this. I had to cut out all white foods. I had to cut out meats. I had to cut out all these things that my ego pitched a fit about. Now, I had to, because my body was shutting down. I had to, because I was basically at the brink of death again, because star seeds, a lot of us will have to go through the brink of death to beg to be here, which is what anchors us in our body here.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot, star seeds have certain traits, if you will, and technically we're all star seeds. So that's not, we're all star seeds. We're all gatekeepers. We're all grid keepers. We're all way showers. We're all of these things. It's just who's fulfilling those roles without being in their ego.
Yeah. Well, that's another good one.
We're all this. It's just who is taking it seriously and who really respects.
Well, I love that's. I don't mean. I just want to say I love that because it's such a simple. It's just like it's pure gold. But if you, it reminds me of that adage or that saying, integrity is what you're doing when nobody's watching.
Well, and here what happens, you start understanding your higher self is watching you.
Yeah.
You can't get away with anything anymore. And so, we have to go all over the place with these. Your higher self is always watching your human. See what you're going to do. That's why I tell everybody, this is always a test. Every moment is a test to see what you're going to choose. And if you do not choose, so most of us don't understand because of the higher vibrations, cosmic vibrations, with the clearing of the cosmic Akash. We have many Akashas to clear. And we go through all of them. I didn't get to the cosmic Akash, and now Gaia is at the cosmic Akash, and universally in Gaia and all these things too, which is why everything's going down the way it is. It's a clearing of the Akash, and it's done through the distortions becoming so loud and visible that you can clear the emotions and the energy, and you can see it. It'll be exacerbated. That's what photonic light does. But it also gives us the ability for our consciousness to travel all the different dimensions and stuff like that. So you can lay in bed. I call it going back under. Lay in bed when the photons are really, really high and close your eyes, and you can travel through that light. You can travel into the other dimensions, and you can see. And for years, what I would do was I would everybody else would go work really hard, and I'd go jump into bed and close my eyes and go, okay, let's go travel. And I started finding out how easy it could be if I would surrender and go get in the bed and go to sleep. And because I could go into all the other dimensions and I could access the information, then I could get up and go do what I needed to do in this physical reality to make it happen. Because that's your divine masculine energy. You get access to all the other dimensions, and you get to see what you agreed to fulfill. You get to see why you're here on this planet to start with. And all the roles and purposes and missions and all these different things. You'll see them all. And then it's whether you're going to get up and accomplish it. Because our physical abundance is tied to how we fulfill our higher purposes here.
Yes.
And so we are clearing a ridiculous amount of karma. And karma is just an unconscious program. It's all of our existences stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it's a part of our own matrix programming. And so, like a lot of people look out there at the outside matrix, but it's inside. Go inside and find your own matrix programming and collapse it yourself.
Yeah.
Every exchange that I have is a timeline, and I get to look at it and say, is this a karmic one or is this one of pure source light? Yeah. And if there's any lack or any need or any, because humans have agendas, humans have lack, humans, the ego shows up when it wants something. It doesn't show up to contribute. It doesn't show up saying, I have something to offer. Here, let me help. It's there with its hand out. And so what we start doing and realizing is that we don't want that in our reality anymore. And the answer is no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And you
that's a big one.
Yourself. Oh yeah, it's going to be a big one because the divine masculine is the one that nips it in the bud. It's the one that says, no more, not my reality. This is not acceptable. And it's a part of, okay.
I like that one. I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm finally getting some brownie points here.
Okay. The divine masculine is the one that says, no more. We have human aligned realities and we have soul aligned realities, and everybody's realities are being soul aligned for them. Well, when you understand that you can align your reality yourself, you have a much easier ride, but you're doing it as love.
Yeah.
Now, here's the tricky part. If you're in a dualistic reality, you will always have to choose yourself. Because you're clearing duality from a reality you created from a dualistic state to start with.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we have to look at it and say, I love you, but no, this is unacceptable.
Exactly.
No, this is no longer aligned. And what we do is you say no, and you let everybody go play the realities out somewhere else. It doesn't really matter, because our new realities are all vibrational, and everybody's got to have the same. And this is where it gets tricky, is because not everybody has the same soul purposes. Not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody, we all are functioning from unity consciousness, which is what clears your karma. Unity consciousness clears all karma. Unity consciousness brings forth all your abundance. Unity, but it's a unified state inside of yourself where there's no more separation anymore. There's no more duality inside. There's no battle going on inside. It's no, not okay. That's just the way it is. Humans do not like higher consciousness. The human ego does not like higher consciousness. It messes with their reality. They don't have any control. And right now, observing the other day, the human ego is being taught humility right now. Who's in charge? And basically, it's the whole cosmos. It's not the human anymore. And so Gaia is teaching humans who's in charge. And so when we expand our consciousness to connect with Gaia and you become Gaia. You become the consciousness. You have Gaia consciousness, you have unity, you have all these different consciousnesses that you will embody for your whole presence to be that. You don't ever turn it off. Okay? You don't go unconscious anymore. You don't pretend to be small anymore. You don't pretend not to be worthy anymore. You don't pretend. Notice the words. In the beginning for me, one day I went small and I heard the words, oh, you're pretending again not to have enough. Oh, you're pretending again not to be enough. And I was like, oh, good God.
I surrender.
Well, and the cool part is you have this dialogue that goes on inside of you 24 hours a day. You're talking to yourself. You're communing on a soul level, and you work through everything, you see everything, and what I started doing was telling people, I don't want to hear what you think. I want to know what you see, because you force them to go through their heart. What do you see? Now, when you have humans, the ego going through emotions, that's why I stopped asking what people felt. Because when you see from inside, you have to feel at the same time. So, and our light bodies are very different. You process light intelligence, you process light codes, you process light data. And it takes longer in the beginning when your light body starts coming online, butterflies everywhere. You actually have to stop. What used to take 5 minutes or 2 seconds, your brain used to just output on a human level. You can't figure it out. You're sitting there staring at it going, I don't know what to do. You cannot process a linear thought. The reason being is it takes your whole body. You have to sit with it until you can see, because thought comes through your whole body connection now. Your pineal gland has to open up for you to see the picture. Everything's visual here. And so what will happen is for you to process light intelligence, light codes, light information, doesn't matter, whatever words we want to use. That light is your pure source light. That light is you. That light is you on a soul level. For you to, Todd, you're going to be laying in the bed and your body's going to be going zoom, 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 zoom. And you're going to be like, oh my God, you're like laying in a pod. It's your light ship. And your body will recharge, recode, recalibrate, and you'll be there for hours while your body does what it needs to do. And then what will happen is when the body's done, you'll start a tuning process and you'll start emitting plasma energy and electromagnetic energy, and you'll go poof. It's kind of weird.
No, I haven't gone poof. Last week, though, I had I think it was 2 days. One day it was probably about 6 hours. I had to lay down. I wasn't going to sleep, but my whole body was vibrating and tingling. And I was telling Morgan, I'm like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do?
You lay down. You let completely go. You surrender. Your consciousness will start when you let completely go and let the body do what it needs to do. It's tuning.
Yeah.
Okay. It's raising its vibration. It's clearing old timelines. It's doing a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah.
You let go and surrender. You lay there with your body. You can actually take your consciousness inside your body and watch what it does. You can actually listen, and your body will tell you, oh, hold on, let me make some up here of some of the ones I've gone through for years. A couple weeks ago, I'm walking through the downstairs, and it's like ocular something or another, and I'm like, oh, okay. And you go look it up, and it tells you what's going on with the frequencies right then, and that's why my eyes weren't working. I'm like, oh, okay. Your pineal gland becomes your primary eye.
Yeah.
And your two eyes go fuzzy so that you can actually see. It's backwards. Your hearing will change. Your ear canals, your nasal canals, everything goes through like a ridiculous reworking process with the physical body. Your lymphatic system, every organ has to be brought online on a much higher dimensional frequency. So the physical body can drop the density. Now, that's density and weight are two different things.
Yeah.
The body gets bigger when it's dropped in density. Okay. So you're not technically, we'll lose weight, we'll gain weight. We'll lose, we'll gain. We'll get bigger, we'll get smaller, but the weight doesn't often change, which is funny. Because what you're doing is you have more space inside for your light cells to zoom, zoom, zoom and move around. Now, the cool part is when those cells are moving, dependent on the consciousness that we've been able to achieve within ourselves, if you will.
Right.
When my light body first started to activate, then I had access to becoming, you will lay down and close your eyes and you'll be floating out in outer space. You'll be the universe.
Yeah.
You'll be zooming around through the planets. You'll be like, and it's bizarre. You will feel like you're going to leave the body. The human aspect will want to kick in and hang on. You'll feel gravity go. When you've activated enough light in your body, gravity will go. And so all this weird stuff starts happening. That is a very important part of this process. Eventually we acclimate to this. So I can just go, oh, gravity just went, because I can walk around and do now. Because I can tell, and I'm not going through these things anymore. I can hear, see, feel everything simultaneously while I do 12,000 other things. But at first, you can't do anything. You have to surrender and let completely go and trust and know that what your body is going through right now is the most important thing, because it's your light activating. It's your light integrating inside of your body. Now, the cool part is, I'm going to explain this to make a point. Oh my God, I've got a ton of white birds. They're beautiful. Sorry. There's like 20 or 30 of them all just.
Wow.
The whole sky's turning crystalline and everything else. I'll have to show you.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. I don't think you can see. See, I have no lines around my clouds. They're all soft. Okay, that's electromagnetic. Each cloud is different. So you have electromagnetics, you have crystalline, you have plasma, everything looks differently. When you surrender your body so it can do what it needs to do, it's more intelligent than our human is. Okay, the body knows what it needs to do. The beauty is, as you embody this light, that light spans every dimension.
Yeah.
So when you embody this light, you span all those dimensions too. From inside of you, you have access to everything simultaneously. We don't procrastinate. We just get up and go do it. There's no making excuses. There's no, you see what needs to be done. You get up and you go accomplish it, and boom, new realities. Here they come.
Yeah.
Boom. You know,
back to bed.
Back to bed and wake up. And, you know, you have on a human level the things that you do, and then you have on a higher self the things that you do, and then on a soul level we have all these different levels that we function from. When you hit avatar consciousness, then it's all of them. So it's quite a bit, and it's immense, the things that we have to accomplish and do all day every day to maintain every physical reality and hold all these states of consciousness simultaneously and function too. So it takes a lot of rest. It takes a lot of alone time. It takes a lot of letting everybody and everything go that doesn't support your highest everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if it's not supporting, then you're the one compromising, and you're the one that's not in tune.
It's that respect question.
It's everything is about respect here. The deepest form of love is also the deepest form of respect.
Yeah.
And so what will clear karma is a lack of respect. The moment that there's a lack of respect, we say no, and you can clear the entire timeline right then. When you say no, you can clear it. Now, as we start being able to see down entire timelines, like eons, years, everything's vibrational. So the moment you come into contact with somebody, you can see all the possibilities, you can see all the purposes, you can see all the things that are available and what could be. The tricky part is that person might not be ready yet.
Right.
They might not be ready for all that you can see, which means they're not ready for your reality, but they're ready for all their realities. And you have to respect that and let them go play their realities out their way, which the human can't do. The human ego wants to hold on and judge and they weren't ready yet. And, I went through it too for years. I went through a lot of people along the way. We all play our roles out. You're clearing all those karmic timelines. You're serving higher purposes together. But there comes a point that you've cleared all of that, where everything is all done as pure source light, purity. And I mean, it's the very purest. There's no ego, not 1 ounce of it.
Yeah.
And it's not allowed to come into the picture. If it does, you call it out, you deal with it, you move through it, it's gone. We don't get hung up on it. We don't have any emotions about any of it. Nobody cares.
It's not erased. It's not erased. It just, it was just a vehicle, so to speak, almost like you could almost say the energetic vehicle until you woke up. I mean, that's all we knew. I wanted to ask you, I wanted to ask you something. I want to keep talking about this, but I'm just curious. I'm really got to say this because I got to be authentic for myself.
I want to change your word because human's word is authentic. And I want you to change your word to genuine because you can feel the word.
Yeah, genuine's more like innocence to me. Yeah.
So go to genuine because it actually makes it more real. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I want to be genuine and say that I want to ask you this question for my own purposes, but I'm certainly think it'll be helpful for everybody. What is your diet? I mean, at this point in the game, my body's giving me all kinds of crazy. Well, they're not crazy, but it's getting louder and louder. I see what's coming. I'm not stupid, so
every phase is different. Okay, so every phase is different, and we can be in all different phases simultaneously at the same time. Mine went through. You go through chunk. Okay, so here. All right, let me back up. We can be in all of them at the same time, but we can go through a phase for a couple years when we're prominently in that phase for a while, going through the DNA rewrites. Okay. So let's say up to the point that I started waking up, I was always in and out of all of these, but I didn't understand and I was unconscious, so my body couldn't process. Your body has to be able to process light, and the more emotions, the more egoic victim emotions that you have going on, your body can't process the light.
Gotcha.
Now that emotional pain will become physical pain when your light body activates and is trying to activate. The physical body starts clearing an immense amount of excruciating pain for a lot of people. That's what was trapped in the cellular body. Okay, and it's all existences. It's not just this one. Don't get hung up on the stuff. You don't really care. I tell people, don't care. Just say clear, body clear, clear, clear. Give your body permission to clear. Get on board. Tell your body, okay, clear, clear, clear. When it comes up, don't suppress it. Don't repress it. Go all into it. Get it out of your body and keep moving. Allow for your body to process and integrate and clear and cleanse. Assist the body. It's the most important thing. We didn't have a clue how much was anchored in the body. Our entire physical reality out there is in our body.
Yes.
Okay. Now, our field of consciousness can't fit into the body because there's so much crap inside. So you have to clear the body out so your field of consciousness, your light, can fit into your body, which is why the body expands. I don't know how else to explain this, Todd.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As your field outside comes inside, then what was inside goes out. And
Right.
eventually your physical body will change vibrationally to walk in completely different dimensions. And you can walk in all of them simultaneously. Sometimes when we first ascend, we can't see the third and the fourth dimension anymore for a while. And so then they will come back in and you'll be able to see them. But then it's a different part of the journey. Then it's to be in you have a roles to play here.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so that's a very different part of the process. It's about mastering the physical reality and bringing everything in your physical reality into alignment on a soul level yourself.
Yeah.
Every person, everything, your whole relationship, your job, everything has to be fully aligned. Nothing gets left out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now to food. Food, for the physical body to drop density, for the physical body to integrate light, for the physical body to clear all of that emotional stuff, for physical body ascension to occur, it has to go completely clean. All green, live foods, the cleanest water that you can, get all the chemicals out, because the pineal gland has to open too, and our heart has to link up with Gaia's consciousness. Okay? Crystals, whatever you got to do, get your physical body vibration as high as you can, because it will be a much easier ride. Food, I actually had to do, because I was so chronic and had so many issues, and I was so deep asleep and deep beneath the veils, and my body was shutting down and my body was dying, literally. I went through organ failure, every organ, all of it, because I had so much stuff inside.
Wow.
When it was time for me to start to love and respect my body, I went clean. All of a sudden, you develop a new relationship with your body where you love and respect it, and you apologize for all the hell you put it through. You apologize, if you will, for not having a clue.
Yeah.
You start to understand the role that your body plays, and that your body was deep asleep. You have a consciousness of your body that has to wake up inside of the body, which is how your soul comes through you. Okay. Now, first I went clean, I detoxed, I got my body, you start exercising, some of the, I want to look good again comes back in, and that's part of the light body waking up. Then what will happen is, as we go through physical body ascension, then it's dark chocolate for the pineal gland. Okay. Lots of dark chocolate. Peanut butter is another one. That's a big deal. Years of peanut butter. I used to sleep with Reese's Pieces in my bed, bags of them. and then I went to organic, clean chocolate, and I slept with chocolate bars. And I used to, I would wake up covered in chocolate and freak out. Oh my God, didn't know what had happened to me, and realized I'd gone to sleep with the chocolate, because when photonic light hits you, it's the drooling energies. You can't function. I used to call it the crawl from room to room energies, because you can barely get up, make it to the bathroom, and then you're back out again.
Yeah.
You don't remember anything. It's heavy duty timeline clearing. It's heavy light anchoring. And we're about to come into that this next week. As soon as we pass through this eclipse, new moon, we're going to get jacked. Really. Yep. Get ready. Every new moon, the whole week after, you're going to go through massive anchoring. And pineal gland and crystals and all that kind of stuff. Now, when you're crystalline, when your light body kicks in, you don't need a lot of food, but dark chocolate and some of these odd things will come in. I cut coffee out for a while, and then I came back on coffee because it helped stimulate my brain, so I could actually do all the linear processes and keep going each day.
Yeah.
But I went to clean organic coffee, everything organic, everything clean. And for all of those that say I can't afford it, it has to become our priority. The moment you make these things your priority, the money you need will come through.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when I made my light body my priority, when I made my soul my priority, when I made and I spent the money on myself, my soul, my light body, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had enough money. It always, that's where we start understanding is you don't compromise on a soul level ever again. And your soul, that's why I wrote the piece I did the other day about, is your soul tangible? Because humans will only spend money on tangible things, and they don't understand your soul is the most tangible thing you have, and the soul of everybody else.
Yeah, that
Humans
was
don't respect each other. They don't respect the work they do. What they're going to understand is, as time comes to 0 point field, they're going to run out of time. And all of a sudden, time, you become the commodity. Your energy becomes precious, and your energy is what creates, and your energy is what you put. Well, humans don't respect energy. They don't pay for energy. And they don't understand that energy is their soul. They don't respect their soul. They don't respect the souls of other people. And so this is all about respect. Every bit of this for each other on a soul level and ourselves. And if that deep sacred respect is missing, then our whole world's out of alignment. And so foods, when you hit the crystalline phase, it's all sugar, cupcakes, muffins, bread. And when I started seeing, I was able to actually, with my human eyes, see the crystals under my skin. And so I would go take videos of them and say, look, people, and put them up. But bread helps you weave the abundance cords inside of your body. And so all the people cutting out bread, I used to say, you're kind of screwing yourself. Okay? There are certain things our body needs. What it does is your light body will take what it needs from the thing that you eat, and then it'll chunk the rest or dump the rest. Okay. So where we used to urinate, drop in density, urinate, your body becomes self-sustaining. You'll stop urinating. Your body will produce its own liquids. The crystals in your body, you'll heat up, you'll cool down, you become like a nuclear reactor. It's bizarre and weird, but this is the multidimensional body. Okay. We heat up, we cool down, it activates the crystals in our body. The crystals in our body turn us into computer processors where you can actually process a ridiculous amount of light data. You can see all the dimensions. You can see you read a field of consciousness. Everybody that walks around, everything is understood. Everything's visible. Humans aspects, third and fourth dimensional body transmits unconscious frequencies.
Yeah.
And those things scream and are really loud. Nobody has to say anything. Human calls it telepathic. It's more than telepathic. Okay. It's an electromagnetic field, a unified field of consciousness. And when you become the unified field of consciousness, then everybody's in your field.
Right.
And so you have to take great care in what you allow in your field, because now that transmission is going to affect your ability to function.
Yeah.
We have to synchronize to be able to stay in the same place for very long. It's a very different existence here. It takes a lot of work on our part. It takes a lot of consideration. It takes a lot of respect. It takes a lot of everybody being fully conscious to even coexist in the same realities here. Wow. Because if one person is unconscious, they're transmitting that out through the field, and it disrupts the entire field of consciousness. I have to tell everybody, go to the beach, go do something else before you come to my house. Don't bring your stuff up in my house. Because they don't understand that if they're chaotic inside, that chaotic energy is going out in every direction, and then it interferes, and then we have to overcompensate.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole thing of being able to function through the unified field of consciousness as a unified field. Well, what you start understanding is that the other person isn't unified inside. There's no unity inside. They're in chaos. They're in duality. They're playing out all this stuff, and they're transmitting that out, and it disrupts the field. For being productive, for being accomplishing, you have to cut all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Back to foods. Crystalline is sugars and muffins and live food one day, and the next minute you're completely famished and you're starving. Your sugar will drop. You can't eat enough right then. Then all of a sudden you can't eat that anymore, and then cosmic rays kick in, and then all of a sudden you're nauseous because the cosmic rays kicked in, and you can't eat that food. When cosmic rays kick in, you can't eat live foods. You can only eat carbohydrates and starches. Okay? Your body is basically killing off the old programming. Literally, your light is going through your body, and I call it seek and destroy. Your light obliterates the old programming. It's cosmic rays, it's radioactive. And so these radioactive rays are being emitted on a photonic level from your cells.
Mm-hmm.
And they are obliterating the old programming, and you'll get sick and nauseous when you're going through cosmic, photonic, radioactive energies emitting from your body, killing off all of this stuff. And you will not be able to eat live foods during that time. And it can be days. Anytime I go through the new moon, I know I'm going to be eating. You're famished, you eat, but you don't gain any weight. Your body's taking everything it needs from this food and it's discarding the rest.
Yeah.
Because we're eating all live, a lot of the times your body doesn't have the waste anymore. So how your body functions completely changes. It's breaking food down and using it. It becomes like light cells, storage. You become like a solar panel.
Yeah.
You literally store light in your cellular body, which is why it gets bigger so you can function on light. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I'm digging it.
Plasma energy is salt and potato chips.
I'm loving it.
It's nothing like it was before. All the old belief systems have to be chunked out the window. Everything you thought, it's not going to play out here. What's going to happen is you're going to ask your body, what does it want? It's going to tell you what it wants. If it's craving blueberries, then you need a buttload. Sometimes I lived on blueberries. And it, all these things feed a different part of the body. And when I was expanding really fast, my body would heat up and it would burn. Your skin changes, your color tones change, everything changes about your body.
Now you said did you say that these can occur simultaneously, or not one after the other necessarily? Because some of these things
all the time, but then what will happen is, let's say that, okay, so I'll use mine as an example. Once I went to physical body ascension, then my light body operating on gamma frequencies. I had gotten up and it's like, okay, get up each day and go to work. Get up each day, actually go take a shower, put your clothes on and get yourself in the mindset. You have to get your whole body on board with producing. And it's like, get up, develop the courses, step into all your fears, because it's time to start getting yourself out there. When you start moving into becoming the whole universe, it's time to start doing a lot of these things if we haven't before. Okay. Once I got the groundwork laid, because you're laying a whole new foundation for realities, all built upon new earth energies, which is love, respect, unity, kindness, compassion, sharing, generosity, a huge one to break the root chakra, ego stuff. Okay. And so while you're going through all of this, then your crystalline will be activating all along the way. But once I completed, I'm using words to make a point.
Yes.
My initial light body phase of about a year, year and a half of produce, right, do for everybody, do, mass consciousness, get up, do the sessions in the middle of the night, get up. Because what happens is you don't have time. You don't adhere to time anymore. So my universe would wake my little human up and tell me to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and write for people on the other side of the world. Well, my human will be complaining. Are you serious? I want to sleep. And it's like, no, get up.
Yeah.
Because I had things to do. Because you become a universal being that isn't bound by human linear time anymore. And in order to do that, you have to let the constraints of time go. And so I actually had to get up and work all the way around the clock to break the clock cycle. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Once I was willing to work, then I didn't have to get up in the middle of the night anymore, but I did have to do that for a few years. Once you get the certain things, the groundwork for certain things laid, then your crystalline will kick in. Once you've held an ascended state of consciousness long enough, then your crystalline phase is going to kick in, because the things that you have created, they're going to start to support you now.
Yeah.
The things you've created are now going to start to support you. So you actually will kick back and sleep a little bit more again, because you're integrating a ridiculous amount of light again for your crystalline light body to come online. And that's what brings everybody online with crystalline New Earth.
All right.
Okay. Then once we complete that cycle, which took me a few years, I think every cycle for me was 1.5 to 2 years. Then once I came through that, because your body has to restore itself back to the original template. And so you have to go through clearing all your distortions. You know, a lot of people don't like the fact that, you know, when the celibacy thing comes in.
Yeah.
But that's the part of the process too for our template to restore itself to original programming. You can't crisscross your DNA.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. 4.5 years.
Yeah. And so being restored back to original template, which means you don't carry the distortions anymore. You're aware of them. They can still appear, but they don't play out. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's what I love about what you said even earlier, because as much as you've experienced and much as you've ascended, I mean, whatever you want to call it, you don't erase the what you call human. It doesn't go away. It's still there. It's part of the team.
It's a very small part of who you are, though.
Yes,
It's still there.
Yeah.
You will always have an ego. The only difference is it doesn't run the show anymore. You're aware that it's there, but it's so small, you rarely ever see it or hear from it. Only when we hit high distortion time. Okay, so all right, let me go back. When we hit high photon activity, the purpose of the high photonic activity, one of the purposes, because there's a bazillion of these, is to exacerbate distortions so you can hear, see, feel them and clear them yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it assists us with bringing everything into full consciousness by saying, no, you have to choose. That's the part everybody says free will, free will. Well, they don't understand free will. That's like the ego running around going free will. It has no clue what free will is. Okay. Free will means that you're going to choose how you're going to do the journey, comfortable or uncomfortable, suffering or on board.
I love this.
Okay. That's the
real
part
deal.
of free will we get. Every bit of this was predetermined before ever walking in here. And once you can see the whole picture, once all that opens up, then you don't need free will anymore because you're so fully aligned and unified inside. There's no questions anymore. The only person that needs free will is the ego.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't want to suffer. Notice how backwards everything is?
Yeah.
That's right. The ego will avoid every bit of this at all cost. Consciousness is a threat to the ego. Everything is a threat to the ego. And so what you start to understand, and that's a part of the nervous system, every light body, we have different levels of the light body, not a better than somebody else type thing. Okay. It's an evolutionary process of holding light, period. Okay. When we hit a certain level of consciousness within ourselves, then we enter into the next phase of evolution as pure source light with our physical body. And it's a part of the embodiment process. Avatar consciousness is an immense part. It's where the keys of the kingdom are granted. It's where every moment you walk in is heaven on earth. You don't experience any of the other stuff anymore. If it does, it's very short-lived, and you deal with it and you move through it and you move on.
Yeah.
You let go of reality right then. Gone. Yeah. We close every timeline out ourselves. We close them out on purpose because the moment you close out the old distorted timelines, the new ones open up.
Yeah.
And so you start understanding how this works, and it becomes really easy because you're no longer willing to compromise. You're not willing to suffer. You're not willing to do without. You're not willing to play in the old games. We don't allow judgment. We don't get caught up in what other people are doing. We don't care what everybody else does.
That's right.
You're here to manage yourself. Yeah. You're here to observe as your higher self. You're going to observe your human, and you're going to say, no, human, you don't get to run the show anymore. Nope.
Yeah.
And you just say no. That pretty much ends it. The only thing that on a human level, the human can't say no. It will succumb to the old stuff. It will give in. It will compromise. And that's where all the anger comes from, is because anger is compromise.
Yeah.
And so when you stop compromising, you don't have to get angry anymore.
So really, it's a no, and there's nothing to talk about. It's just no, and you just
Well,
keep
okay,
going.
so now let's take it to the next level.
Yeah.
If we are the conscious one, then it depends on okay, so hold on, let me word this a couple ways. If we're the conscious one, we have the capability. Conscious means your heart is open and your mind is open and you care.
Yes.
Okay? You're considerate, you're respectful, you're kind. You're willing to bring that whole reality into consciousness now.
Yeah.
Which means having a conversation. There's no ego, so it's not against the other person, it's for everybody.
Right.
It's for all of us. It's because we love each other so deeply on a soul level. It's because our relationships are pure.
Yes.
And so from this place in this space, we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
But if you have a human ego involved, it gets his feelings hurt. It doesn't want to hear it. There's resistance going on. There's imposing, there's projecting, there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to say it this way just to make a point. Our level of consciousness will dictate how easy bringing it into full consciousness is going to be.
Yeah.
Because if we were unconscious before and we called forth a really strong duality reality, and duality just means there's a lack of love and respect there.
Yeah.
There's a lack of integrity. And integrity is on a soul level. It's not a human one. They're very different levels of integrity. Respect is a different level of respect. Okay? So what will happen is that if we are being kind and loving to ourselves, we're able to be kind and loving to everybody else. If we are respecting ourselves, we can be respectful to everybody else. But if we have allowed for disrespect, if we have an emotion going on, then we have to pull away until all of that is gone. And then we can come together and we can work through things. Now, the more crystalline, the more plasma, the more light we hold. I'm just using words here to make a point. The easier this is, and the faster it is too, because the more crystalline our body, the faster we process light, which means we don't have the delay that the human does anymore. So the human aspect, the dense physical body going from carbon-based to crystalline, carbon-based to silicone, carbon-based to all these different bodies that we have. Plasma, okay?
Yeah.
The dense human body takes days and weeks and months to clear that emotion. We don't, because we've cleared it from our body. We just move the emotion out and then we work together. We don't have, it doesn't take a long time. You know, if I have something big hit, I might take a day or two. And I won't go back and respond, or I won't go have that conversation until I've cleared all of that emotion.
Until you're ready.
Side of me, and then I will come together, and I will always bring it into a higher state of consciousness. It will always be about our relationship and how much we care about each other. It will always be on a soul level. It will not be about what the human did. It will be about, and this is the cool part, Todd, it's no longer about what they did. It's what's acceptable right now. You let go of what they did. It's what you're going to tolerate and allow. Yeah. Now you determine, each one of us determine what's acceptable. And what is acceptable is what is aligned. And if it's not aligned, it's not acceptable.
That's right.
Any given shape or time. The reason being is the moment you allow it and you go back into that consciousness, your body transmits a different coordinate and it actually carries your body back to that dimension.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
I have to say it different ways to make a point.
No, you're right. And you know what's interesting is right up, I'd say, and you've seen this before, where you would have, like in the light worker circles, these, I don't want to know what we would call it, but just this projection and
there's all kinds of stuff going on, dude.
Right.
Let me tell you.
I know, right? I know, right?
You just let them all. You let everybody go play that stuff out. You focus your energy and you go do what's important. Let them all hash it out. This year, my universe said, let them all hash it out. Don't even worry about it. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And that's what I love about what you're saying, because, you know, people might look at you and say, oh my God, she's got, you know, but you still are dealing with it. But the process is totally different. The place you're at is totally different. But there was like a 2-3 week period right before that eclipse, that blood moon eclipse, and it just got really loud, and everybody's like, "Well, WTF," you know? And I was just like, "Hey," I mean, I'm sure there seemed to be more clarity after it happened, and then you started seeing people. Very recently, several people wrote about it, about that self-awareness, self-consciousness, this self-judgment. You know, it's like coming to a head, and
I
how
love
it doesn't belong.
Though, of self-consciousness, though. I go back to what you just said, self-consciousness. I want you to look at it from two different. That word has dual meaning.
Yeah, I just got that. It's double entendre there.
You have self-consciousness on an ego level, and you have self-consciousness as a higher self.
Yeah, it's unconscious. Yeah.
And one is conscious of yourself.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It has different meanings, and pretty much everything has different meanings here. Yes, what's going to happen is we are in photonic realities now. Everything is photons.
Okay.
Everything. So if you will watch, and there are some people who go post the reports. I listen to them. I hear them. I see them. I what I write for you guys is what I hear, see, feel. I'm aware of them. I don't need to go look up anything. I hear gamma. Okay, gamma just activated. Okay, we just went plasma. There goes diamond light codes. There goes the rainbow frequencies. Because you become the whole cosmos inside, and your whole inside. Those cosmic frequencies replace human thoughts. The more you clear those distortions, the less human ego thoughts you have, and it all is replaced with cosmic frequencies. It's a symphony, 24 hours a day. Those frequencies tune your light body.
Like an instrument.
Yes.
Wow.
I could not function without my frequencies. I would be lost. And when I moved over to New Earth with my full body, because you're constantly going back and forth for a while. When I woke up one morning and I got in the shower, because everything happens in the bathroom. In the shower, the words are, "You're on New Earth." Well, I'm standing in the shitty shower going, "What?" Paint peeling off, and it's a wall, and there's a crack coming through, and I'm watching the little spider, and I'm going, I'm standing in the shitty shower, and I'm on New Earth. Your mind can't comprehend. Because what happens is we first come through and have access to New Earth. We haven't cleared all of our lack.
Right.
Now it's time to consciously clear your lack programming. And everywhere you compromised and where you believe the physical reality first. Now you start standing in your mastery. Now your consciousness dictates the physical, and the physical matter will actually realign according to your consciousness. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now it's about focusing your consciousness. You can take your consciousness anywhere you want to if you're completely in tune, and you can activate any reality. You can open portals. You can go through them. You can walk through them. It's absolutely freaking amazing. But you can't do this if you're in your linear head, discounting the whole thing and defending yourself against consciousness.
Yeah, I surrender. I love what you said earlier. A great analogy was when you said when it comes up and you clear it, you're resetting. Your coordinates are being reset. And we're talking,
you're changing coordinates with your body. Literally, your body actually transmits the coordinates for the dimension that your physical body occupies.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are very aware of this, we lost him. Dude. Hey, everybody.
Can you hear me all right?
Give me some.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You popped out. Dude.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, you're back in a different dimension now. You had to leave that dimension and come into this one.
Well, if I told you what was happening over here, but when you were talking earlier, God, I'm gonna have to go listen to I'll put it in the comments I'll go back and edit it and look at it.
No, just stop.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
Go inside and tell it to come forth again, and it'll come forth.
Oh yeah. How do you put that into words?
You don't. You'll
No.
learn how.
Yeah. So
You can access anything by closing your eyes and going inside. You can recall a moment.
yeah.
Um, and I'm going to say this really quick because it's kind of cool. When I started understanding way back when that I could actually create visual imprints of reality so I could recall them.
I
When you're
get that.
shifting dimensions so quickly, you can't remember the previous dimension for a while.
Mm.
You can't remember anything. It's gone. I used to write myself note. I call them messages in a bottle. I would write myself a message so I could, when I get up the next day, I could remember what I needed to tell myself. So we do all these weird things for a while. Your body template will wipe your whole template, and everything goes. Time goes. Everything goes. Your memories go. Everything gets wiped. Your entire Akash will clear. Then, once we've gone through a part of the process, you'll access a new level of Akash. So we have an Akashic records in every one of our existences that we have to clear. So doing universal Akash or human Akash versus a cosmic Akash, or you have the Lemurian, Atlantean timelines. We have, the Egyptian. We have all these different Akashas that we have to clear, and they're all inside of our body. It's all the distortions that have to be cleared. Everything has to be pure. Our entire existence has to be completely pure, which is what this is about. We're returning to Lemurian consciousness. We're returning to a galactic consciousness, which is pure. We return to God consciousness without the ego.
Yeah.
We return. This is a returning to consciousness. And what will happen is you will activate that consciousness inside of your body. But then it opens up a portal, a gateway, an initiation process that we will go through until we complete every initiation to achieve the embodiment of that consciousness, which can take years.
Yeah.
And so activating a consciousness, a lot of people think just because they activated the consciousness, they embody the consciousness. That's not how this works. You activate the consciousness to become aware of it, but then you're going to go through a passageway to clear everything that isn't of that consciousness within you. And it's a massive process. And every consciousness, so when you start activating all your galactic aspects, every one of them have distortions too. You have to clear all of those.
Oh, wow.
Syrian, it's massive. Syrian, Lyran, Lemurian, Atlantean, Egyptian. The list can go on and on. Sorry about that.
Yes, I saw. I love it. I saw that at the end of that. At the end of that article you wrote about the codes coming in.
Yeah.
I wrote down the three words I wrote down were anchoring.
Yep.
Full integration. Full integration is kind of what you're talking about, and then application. But at the end of that, you listed a bunch of the different types of codes that were coming in, and I was really pleased to see, because I'd never seen somebody put it that way. But it was all the galactic, and it was also the Earth prior civilizations and that type of thing.
It's all of them. And see, what we don't understand is that it's all a frequency. Okay, light codes are just frequencies and tones. They're colors. So the cosmic rays, they're sound frequencies, which is how the harmonics are created. So they're harmonizing frequencies. When we say that we are in a harmonic realignment, that means that all the frequencies have to be realigned. Everything's got to be realigned on a higher frequency than it was before. And so timeline jumping is just a convergence of all timelines into this space. And when you collapse all timelines into this space and function from this space right here, and you apply that higher state of consciousness to how you live your life, you can collapse all timelines. And then everything that was off in those other times, everything that was unachievable, everything you desire, it all comes right here. It's right here. This is where you function from, though, here. And to be able to maintain all these light codes, are every light code. They just have a different energy signature, if you will.
Yeah.
And so Syrian is your no BS, no nonsense. Step up, get your shit together. No more playing the games. Get yourself out there, step into your fears. Your Syrian is going to push you. Get up.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas Arcturian is the purest form of love. And the beauty of the ninth dimensional template that we just completed anchoring in Gaia. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to push the lower dimensional realms harder, though, which means that each person needs to clear those lower dimensions inside of their body, within their own self, to have an easier ride. Because what happens is the higher we go, the more the lower ceases to exist.
Yeah.
And so if you're hanging on to the old, you get drugged through it.
Yeah.
So,
can be in your face.
Ninth dimension, though, is relative to Arcturian frequencies, but they're all always available. It's just that the beauty of the ninth dimensional template means that we get to actually interact with each other on an Arcturian level and above now. Syrian, and I don't like the levels and the numbers, but I do it because it gives a reference point. Because the human will get all into this competition mode when technically it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's more making everybody aware so that we can understand how high we're going, so that we can understand what we're actually doing here. It brings validity to something. And the fact that we just hit, I had no clue we were hitting a ninth dimensional template. I knew that we were working on it. I knew that we've been doing this, but I never really pay any attention to it until it comes into my face and it's time for me to share it with other people, which means that I've accomplished it within myself along with Gaia as a gatekeeper. Okay. And so when we woke up, the week before, I heard 9 codes dial. Because I can hear the Stargate codes as they dial, and you can hear them being released. And I went online, I'm like, okay, we had like 9 codes or more released, and it like no big deal. Well, the whole next week, we're going through this massive regridding process and stuff. And I wake up and I see the 9 again. I'm like, 9? Why am I seeing 9 again? And again, it was ninth dimensional template. But because what happens is when it first comes through, you only get to see a part of the picture. I won't rush to say anything to anybody until I have the whole picture.
Right.
There's no reason. That's all ego. When I have the whole picture, when I understand the process, then I'll go write it for everybody and share it. The fact that we hit ninth dimensional template about a year ago, I made the comment, no more, for my own physical reality. And I'm like, universe, nobody less than a ninth dimension anymore in my world. Because I need those people who are coming from that place of pure love within themselves. I need those people if we're going to accomplish the things we came here to do. And so I'm like, no more. Ninth dimension only in my reality. And the cool part is that anchoring the ninth dimensional template in means that we now get to interact with ninth dimensional template beings.
Yeah.
Okay. But most people don't understand we are the galactic councils here. When we first start waking up, we're standing in front of a council. And we have to grow up. We have to become, that's part of the embodiment process, is we end up being the guardians. We end up being the ancients. We end up being the about a year ago, I think the word was unified council of light, which was a new one for me. And it's just pure love. And then I start seeing that all of us, the unified council of light, and everybody walking around, and now we actually get to reconnect with each other. We're the star beings in the body who have grown up to be responsible guardians of this earth.
Yeah.
We are the embodied council members here to reconnect, because we're the councils, all of us.
Yeah.
In form, but we all have to get through our human stuff in order to fulfill these roles.
Yeah.
So, which is the purpose, is to move through that human stuff as fast as you can, clear it out so you can fulfill your highest purposes too. I mean, they bring ease, they bring joy. I mean, these frequencies have been nothing but magnificent. 24 hours a day. And the other night I posted, they're coming in really easy. People were like, you call this easy? Well, where I
Well,
apparently it's beating other people to death, but I went through those for my years. Now they're just soft and beautiful 24 hours a day in my frequency bandwidth where my body's located. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
There's no harshness. There's no roughness. It's just pure beauty. It's just, it just is. And so, but in order for each one of us to achieve this ourselves, we have to go deep inside and we have to see our own stuff and clear it out and let go of the judgment about it all.
Yeah.
Let go of it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing.
And the braggadocio. You know, and the braggadocious aspect, where, because you get stuff like you made me realize something today.
What's that?
I know when things activate, and Morgan always says it takes 1 to 5 days for the brain to catch up. But we had experiences where we had visual materialization of star family or whatever. A couple of them went into my body, which I understood were my aspects coming into me. But what you said was, you don't get it the day it comes in. You have to embody it, right? That's what
you
she
have
said.
to go through every moment from that point forward is you going through clearing distortions until you are that being with every breath.
Yeah.
And so every moment you breathe being that aspect, and all of the ego constructs have to go. All of the lack. See, we didn't know how deeply ingrained in our body our ego was. When we hit the plasmic frequencies, then all the pain in the teeth and the bones start. Okay? That's a different part of the process, because these light codes, they actually go into your muscles and your bones.
Yeah.
Okay, they go into your blood, the crystals, muscles, bones, and every part of your body represents a different part of the system for new earth or old. And so your liver, your kidneys, your organs, your eyes, your pineal gland, all of these body parts become an intricate system that works together cohesively once the separation inside is gone.
Yeah.
And so every part of the body has to be completely reworked. We need a ridiculous amount of sun. Yeah. We need a ridiculous amount of certain things. Foods support the light body. Foods support the crystalline, but they're going to be different all along the way. You will cut out certain things that don't support your body anymore. Milk products, go. There are certain things you don't put back in your body because they actually interfere with your light's ability to communicate. You are a walking, living DNA. Your DNA is communicating with you and talking to you 24 hours a day. You'll never get bored ever again. But all of this intelligence is inside of you in your body.
Yes.
And it communicates 24 hours a day. And if you're really in tune and listening to your body, all the knowledge you need is right there.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to start sharing the knowledge, sharing the information, sharing. That's a part of unity consciousness, or we clear our abundance as we learn to share.
Yeah.
Abundance issues. Okay. And so unity consciousness is each person stepping up and uniting and sharing and supporting, no longer from a place of lack or need, because we care.
Right.
And not because we care because, oh, poor, pitiful anybody. That's all ego constructs.
That's right.
We care because we're that deeply connected on a soul level. Yeah. Now, the tricky part is that you can be that deeply connected on a soul level and still watch the human in front of you and see they're deep asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the awareness and the understanding for what role you play here. When you become a higher self, you become everybody else's higher self too. But the ego wants to get involved in their business, and we don't interfere. We create opportunity. We open portals. We lead the way. We show the way. We're the way showers and all that kind of thing. We open the portal and leave it floating, and we walk away and we go on and do 12,000 other billion things. And we let them walk through and they're ready.
It's like planting the seeds.
When you become the universe, you become everybody's universe in a way. And it's called being a universal surrogate for a while. And you're okay with being the teacher. You're okay with being the one that shares the consciousness. But eventually it will become heavy, because if the other person isn't stepping into their own power, then your field is carrying them, and your body will start to suffer for after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to learn to understand how you are able to affect reality through your consciousness. So like when I did the retreat last year, I went to the hotel. I can take my consciousness and create an energetic grid of the whole place and elevate the consciousness of the whole place. I can hold that whole place in that higher timeline while everybody is there. And the day that I finished the retreat, I collapsed the entire thing because I'm holding that in place. The unit, that Christ consciousness, I'm holding that with my body.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body can only hold those levels of consciousness. Oops.
We're good.
Go ahead. Your body holds a ridiculous amount of light. Your body is the conduit basically for holding the vibration of your whole field of consciousness in place. And so if you're compromising and not honoring your body, you can't hold that consciousness. And so your body becomes number one. So there's a lot of rest. There's a lot of sleep. For me, I learned how to work from bed. There are days when your spine, so when you go fully quantum, everything's from your spine. And so you'll activate Kundalini. You have different Kundalini awakenings for clearing distortions and all that kind of stuff. For me, my spine is my entire communication center. And so when my body is being upgraded, it's in my spine. Well, you can't sit up straight and do linear processes when your body's going quantum. So you can't sit at a desk. You can't even do physical work until the quantum work is complete and your body can function linearly again.
Makes sense.
And so when your body has integrated all that light and your field and your body have synchronized, then you'll wake up and you'll have plenty of energy. But this is the trick. You have to focus your energy on what's important and getting those things done, because the moment your light body starts tuning again, your body's going to go kaput and your brain's going to go kaput too. And so you have to utilize your energy. You have to respect your energy. And your energy has to accomplish, that's creator energy, source creator. You are accomplishing 24 hours a day. But it's not from a I have to, it's from a I agreed to. It's a sacred place of honor. You're honoring your agreements that you made before you ever came here, and you're fulfilling those highest purposes roles. And we moved out of higher consciousness into highest years ago. So it's no longer just a little, let me be a little more conscious. No, you got to go full blown wide open.
It's all or nothing.
It's
alignment of all of your mission from your heart, service.
When you are fully connected inside, you are your higher self. When you are fully connected inside and there isn't 1 ounce of ego, you are emitting pure source light. When you are fully connected inside and you don't separate off anymore, and you don't go small, and you don't bring your distortions into play, and you don't go unconscious, then your physical body is recoding itself so it can enter into a higher dimensional frequency, and it's dropping the density, the programming, all of the words that we use. You tie all the words together, but you have to throw out every word of being a victim. All the I can't, or I'm not good enough, because it's all a story, it's all a lie we told ourselves. And it has nothing to do with that out there. That out there, that out there is a solid hologram. That hologram you walk in, that virtual reality you walk in, becomes solid because you believed it into reality. So what happens is when you start opening up the higher dimensional realms inside of you, you start having new beliefs. You start having new desires, but they're not sexual and they're not lack and need. Your root chakra cleanses itself, and that's where your drive on a soul level comes from. So it's a pure place, and it'll cycle up and down the spinal column, up and down and up and down and up and down. And when you're ascending, you'll be floating around up here outside your head.
Yeah.
You'll have this expanded state of consciousness. And then what will happen is as we ascend and float around for a while, we disconnect from everything of the lower dimensions. And as you are disconnecting from all of the lower dimensions, you are becoming your higher self, and then you descend that into your body, and which is where unification starts to occur. And while you're doing that, you're pulling your body into a higher dimensional realm. While you're in that, I've seen so many people, so, we don't ground, we float and we fly on purpose. You have to completely connect from the lower dimensional realms if you're going to pull your body into a higher dimension. Otherwise, you're going to wait until it happens for you, and that's the rougher ride.
Yeah, I won't do that. Let's surrender.
Right. Surrender. This is a continual surrendered state, 24 hours a day. Your body says, I'm tired, you go lay down. Whether you sleep for 3 minutes or 3 hours, all you're doing is your pineal gland is trying to open and release light codes, and you'll feel poof.
Yeah.
And then the neural pathways will have photonic light zooming through them. You will have photonic light emitting from your cells. It gets weird and bizarre. Go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's becoming more and more obvious. I'm glad you've talked about this, about the body, because we saw this body as something that was, finite, but the truth is it's the command center. Well, I love what you said about it. The voice of the body has a voice.
Yeah. And the body talks 24 hours a day, and you'll never sleep the same ever again either. All your sleep changes.
Yeah. That's what's happening. I know it's
sleep. Yeah. You'll be working all night long. Beauty is you're working in those dimensions, doing everything. So when you wake up, this physical reality is really easy. Yeah. So we still work in this physical reality. And so there's a lot of people when they first come through to New Earth, they don't want to work. Starseeds don't want to work. We have all this stuff we have to clear out. Okay. The moment, people got angry with me for years saying, we're working. We're like, we don't want to hear you're working. I'm like, okay, fine. They'll hit that place. They got to start working. They'll want to hear it then, And so what used to be our jobs in the physical realm changes because here we work in service with every breath. Yes. Every breath is in service. We breathe it. You breathe service to humanity because you're breathing love for humanity. Yeah. But there's a difference between dealing with a human ego and humanity. Does that make sense? And so it's easier to get up and work for the whole world than it is individuals because it takes so much energy sometimes.
Thank you. I say to myself, I did feel bad. I don't anymore. I'd say Soulology is not a social circle. It's an energy.
No. I have people, they write in all the time. They want to talk and give them their phone number and they want to chit chat. That's not what this is. Mm-hmm. I don't have a team sitting here to converse all day long. Mm-hmm. We're all busy and everybody's working 12 jobs.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're not working. So we work. The difference is our work is in service to humanity. So when people don't want to pay, because we can get into the money aspect of it if you want to, they don't understand that's their lack.
Yeah.
That's their lack of appreciation. That's their lack of respect. And they're going to have to go through the same thing where they're treated with that lack of respect in order to get it.
Yeah. That's
nobody will want to pay them until they get it. And then what will happen is, and that's why I wrote the article I did a couple of days ago, is because you have to reassociate what money means to you.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying the person. You're supporting the New Earth realities. You're supporting the projects. You're supporting the people who are busting their ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're supporting all of us.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you do, you are creating more to come back to support you. It's reciprocal.
Yes.
And so, I've been re-educating people for years about this. There is no lack here because everything is based upon respect and integrity and purity. And because we don't function from a place of lack, we don't do without anymore because we don't compromise and we share. We support, we share everything with everybody else. And so when each person gets to this place where they don't let things dictate, when they don't let those things, when they don't let their fear or selfishness or greed dictate. This means clearing all of that program so everybody understands the purpose of everything.
Yeah.
And so understanding that those, once you transcend that separation inside of you, then all of that lack goes too. You are still going to work. So everybody says, what about my job? You're still going to work. Resign yourself to the fact you're going to work in service to humanity, though. You're going to work in service to Gaia. You're not going to work the way you did before. You're going to integrate light and get up and do what your soul tells you to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
And every moment is led around. The human is led around like it's on a leash for a while. And money becomes a leash too. Because until each one of us has proven that we can come from honor and integrity and purity with everything in our lives, we don't get any more because we don't appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
We don't share what we have. And until we learn to appreciate, respect, and share, we don't get more.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're hoarding something material, you're actually blocking. And you're the one that turned me on to this. I met you in June. You were telling me a little bit privately about how it unfolded for you, right? Mm-hmm. And you were telling me how generosity and what you're describing. You're feeding this reality. You're creating this reality by making these. And so I started.
You have to become it for it to occur. Yeah. You're not waiting for it to happen anymore. Yes. When I started realizing that if I wanted the things that I needed to support me, I needed to support everybody else first. And my universe was like, step up and start supporting. Step up and start sharing. Step up, and then you call it forth. Everything's backwards here.
Yeah.
And so I did. And the beauty, and I tell everybody this, my universe, when you separate off from your universe, you just talk to your universe and get your own answers back. And then you merge back with your universe and you do what you saw and you become the universe again. So when I separate them out, it's for a place of understanding. I am my universe. I don't separate off from being the universe anymore. But if I need an answer, my human will ask and then I'll answer myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but one day I'm sitting there and I was angry because people were not supporting, and we'd been busting our butt for years, 24/7, showing up, writing energy reports every day and helping people. And one, you don't do this because you want anything. You do this because you're on a soul level. You're so driven and you love so much, you care so much that you want everybody to experience New Earth too. Yeah. Once you start experiencing New Earth, you're like, oh my God, everybody needs to experience this. And then you get on a mission to bring New Earth forth for everybody to understand. When I started talking New Earth, it was unheard of for us already being here, because it was a one-day thing. And it's New Earth is what we create. It's the reality we hold. It's the consciousness we hold, and it's how we live our lives and treat each other. It's our behavior. Right. And so when you step up and you step forth and you become that aspect, then you activate the things you need to come to you. It's not the other way around. It's not to sit around and wait for it to happen. You can, but it's going to be a really rough ride. Mm-hmm. And so, at one point, it's like, universe, why do I only get enough just to get by? I'm really tired of this just enough. And Todd, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
Universe. And so I'm having this conversation with myself. I'm like, why? I'm so tired of just getting by. I'm tired of people. They don't donate. They don't support. They don't care. They don't respect. They don't appreciate. So I'm going through this whole, you get pissed off at humanity every time you're about to shift. Okay. Every time you get pissed off at humanity, you're about to shift. It's a part of the process as well. And you're going to love humanity more once you do. But you got to clear all of that being pissed off at humanity so that you can clear it, so that you can love humanity more. So it's a part of the process that goes on for years. And the words were, because that's all you keep asking for is just enough to get by. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's like, yeah. Now, the tricky part was, it's like, just ask for more. But here's the key. When you ask for more, you have to share more.
You give more, yeah.
And so then in the beginning, I had to work for free so that I could learn to appreciate everything I had. And then when I started understanding how selfish and greedy and disrespectful the human aspect was, it's like, now you don't have to work for free anymore. You had to be willing to. Now you're going to start charging because you have to support the work you're doing, and nobody else is going to support you for a while. You got to do it yourself.
Yes.
And so, you know, I did that for a while, but then when I hit that place, it's like, okay, I had to give 100% away every time so that I could get more. But I could only give it to those things that were aligned on a soul level, not because I was trying to save anyone or fix anybody else's world. You know, I would go out and sit with the homeless all day, and I would feed the homeless and take them to the hospital. Or, you know, I would do events and pay for everything. And I started using money to create realities and activate realities and bring more forth here for everybody. And I started sharing everything that I had.
Yeah.
And then it was, now you can ask for more, but now half of everything you get goes out the door to support the other way showers, to support the other people doing this too. We support each other.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it was half of everything you get goes back out the door. Yeah. Then I moved into another phase, because each phase has different rules, if you will, cosmic rules. Yeah. And then it was, now you've supported everybody else. You don't have to do that anymore because you're willing to, because you're basically reversing everything.
Yeah.
You're clearing everything when you do. Then it was, now, you know, I was going to move to this home, and everybody that came that felt aligned, I was to provide a place and a space, and I was to teach. And they were my soul family. So I would bring people up in here, and I would do that. And then it's like, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. You've completed those initiation. I was in God consciousness at that point. And God consciousness is the provider. Okay, you become the provider, you become the supporter, whereas being energy is being supported. You have to step into being the supporter and maintain that balance too. And it's everything in your life is that way. And so once I completed those initiation processes, then it's like, okay, you're done. You don't have to support people anymore. Now all the money you get goes towards the programs, the projects, paying the teams and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and I did that for a while, and then I could see how people didn't want to do the work. And it's like, okay, so you move out of that process. So do you see how we go through all these different processes?
Yeah. No, I can relate to a lot of this. I'm not saying I've been saying it. Yeah. Believe me.
I'm saying it. You don't know how many people, they want the money, they want the easy realities, but they don't want to do anything for it. They're like, oh, I have to actually do something? Yeah, sure do. And because they don't understand how important their roles are here.
Yeah.
We all have huge roles here to fulfill, and it takes all of us working together and sharing and supporting each other. You know, we're not here to take up the slack for each other's lack of power. We're here to take up the slack so that everybody can have it easier. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I make your reality easier. You make my reality easier. We make everybody else's reality easier. Then everybody has a lot easier reality. But we use our gifts, our energy. We use our knowledge. We use things that aren't tangible to the human that they don't understand is important.
Exactly.
And human aspect, ego aspects don't understand that higher consciousness knowledge is what saves humanity. Each person becoming their higher self is how humanity transitions out of old earth into new completely. And so the knowledge and the information we share is eons and years above a lot of humans, because until they get to that vibration, it's not going to make any sense to them.
Right.
So we're sharing, you know, when I first came into embodying my higher self, the words are, you're no longer from this time, you're now from the future, and nobody's going to understand a word you say. And it was several years. I looked like the crazy lady. But you have to get okay with that, because you understand how important this is. So when we're bringing through quantum information that it applies to this now, it means it applies to this now.
That's right.
You know, and the beauty about quantum is that it always applies. It doesn't matter if I wrote it 5 years ago or today. They're all still, because they're vibrational.
Yes.
They're built on sacred geometrics. They're built on, you know, we get into quantum physics and equations and all this kind of stuff. That's our whole new reality. That's how we function.
Yeah.
Everything is quantum here. There's no linear anything.
Yeah.
At all. The ego was linear. So once you transcend your ego, all that linear stuff starts to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting some of that on the linear, and it's not easy, but it's not difficult. I can't explain it. You're saying that you have to experience it or embody it. You know, you have
Yeah.
to do it or be it. Well,
The
like
hard,
the example I gave you with the generosity. You know, I actually, because whenever I do it, it comes in,
uh-huh.
and it's a frequency, and I consciously am saying to myself effortlessly, this is what I'm doing. I'm creating this reality, and it works. It just doesn't
Yeah.
look like the 3D.
Right.
It doesn't like, oh, you're going to have this much money in the bank. No, it's just a daily thing. You
Well,
know?
and the thing about it is okay. So the easiest way for me to explain this is that we have 12 dimensional human aspects that we have to master, and each 12 has a different job.
Mm,
So on a human level, we'll get up and go, oh, I mastered that. Well, now you're going to master something else. And so every time that I would do, so like that's why I do so many different jobs, is because they're all my 12 different dimensional aspects. And I maintain all of those jobs, publishing the books, teaching the courses, you know, whatever the case may be. I was doing energy for you. And the thing about it is all of those things are going to support you. You're no longer dependent on one thing. Like the human says, I need one job to pay my bills. No, you're going to do 12
right,
jobs.
right.
Those 12. And so what will happen is I'm trying to explain this as easy as I can.
No, this is good.
As we come together, then somebody else becomes a vibrational match. They're an aspect of ourselves, and they pick up that job. And then while they're doing that job, you can do something else. I'm trying to do this through geometrics right now.
No, I
Okay.
got this. This is good.
Okay. Then everything you have supports both of you. And then somebody else will come in and everybody's contributing. And then what you have supports the three of you. And so what happens is you combine your resources, you combine your energy, you combine things. But what you have is when you have a human ego aspect, they're showing up for what they can get out of it.
Yes.
Here,
Thank you.
you show up because you have something to offer. Some people have
Yes.
money, and that's what they're offering, but they're getting something in exchange, but it's vibrational, and what they're getting is the joy. What they're
Yes.
getting is the fulfillment on a soul level, because that fulfillment on a soul level is what drives us. That's your worthiness. Your worth is how you show up in the world. Your
Yes.
worth and your worth to humanity is where your abundance comes from. That's the easiest way that I can say it.
Yes. That's right.
And
Yeah.
so while we're working through all these worthiness issues, programs, all of
Yeah.
these years, you're transcending your judgments about money. You're transcending your own issues being a program, your own programs about the purpose of money. You're
Yeah.
transcending your own programs about how to share. You're transcending the competition. You're transcending all of the duality inside of yourself so that everybody can unite and come together and work together,
Yeah.
and everybody receives. But if until you've done it yourself, you don't know how to do that,
Yeah.
which is why we have to do it by ourselves for a while.
Yeah.
Is because we have to reach that place inside of us that
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
separate off and go selfish
Yeah.
if money comes into the picture. We
That's
don't
right.
separate off and go selfish if we get something. We don't separate off and go selfish anymore. And so if we do, then we're not given, if you will, we haven't achieved the vibrational frequency for infinite abundance to occur, because infinite abundance is because we are so abundant inside, we're willing to share everything. We share
Yeah.
24 hours a day. Now, the tricky part is if you bring somebody in needy or greedy mode, you're not allowed to share with them.
Mm.
This is where your divine masculine comes in, because, or God consciousness too, is you recognize the energy and you realize you're not assisting them in any way. You're not
Right.
really helping them. The way you
Right.
help them is you help them evolve their consciousness.
Like you said, if you do, you're taking on that.
It's your
You're
lack,
taking
it's
that
not
on.
theirs.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you start learning what's appropriate in every exchange. You start learning that with this person, I can't give them money because they go unconscious when I do.
Yeah.
with this, because then what happens is they just show up when they want more money again. You're creating that cyclical cycle that just goes round and round. It's karmic and stuff, timelines. Whereas, if you create an opportunity and say, you can get paid if you want to work in service for humanity. You can get paid if you want to do this. Well, if they can't come through, then they're not really interested.
That's right. I can't do it for you. Isn't that what you said at the top of the show? That's what we're being told.
Right.
No one's going to do it for you. I mean, I know that sounds very basic, but that's getting very loud right now.
It is. And what happens is, okay, so when we were human, little egos, Todd, it used to be what everybody was doing. Now what's going to start happening for you guys, now it's what they're not doing. You're not stepping up. You're not coming through. You're not sharing. You're not open. It flips. Everything flips. So when we were human, we kept looking for everybody else to be honest and be truth, right? Then once you become a higher self, you can see everything. Yeah. And so what happens is the very first time you meet people, you'll meet their higher selves, but then after that, you'll start seeing the human ego programming. It's backwards once you ascend. Then after a while, you can see everything simultaneously. But in the beginning, it's confusing because you'll connect on a soul level because you've been able to connect with yourself on a soul level.
Yeah.
So that first meeting, a lot of the times you can connect on a soul level, but then their walls go back up. Or your walls go back up, or your programming comes back in, or their programming comes back in. And so a huge part of this process is those walls got to come down and they got to stay gone.
Yeah.
They can't come back in. Those human programs can't be brought back in anymore. You can't play in the old ego games anymore. The conscious thing is to say, no, it's not tolerable or acceptable.
Yeah.
And one thing I started doing was so that everybody understood in my reality. What I was look at the person and tell them, unconscious you is not welcome here. Conscious you is always welcome. And I would make you make people accountable for their actions. You make people accountable for their actions. You hold them, not that you're imposing on them. From a place of this is what's acceptable if you're going to have a reality together, because you don't have to have a reality together. You can connect on a soul level and the person can go off for years. And the beauty is we don't exist in time. So you won't even know they've been gone for years. You have no clue. You forget about them. They're gone. Then when it's time for them to come back into your reality, that vibration will activate and you'll know they're coming back around. And when they show up, you check and see which aspect you have. And then you decide whether there's a reality or not. Yeah, and if they're still very unconscious, if their heart is not open, if it's the, when you get into the human ego, it's very predictable because it only shows up when it wants certain things. So then you start seeing, well, they're in user mode or they're in manipulation mode, and you can see all these things. And you just, the only thing is it's not a judgment. You just don't desire the experience anymore.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not productive.
It's like you said earlier when you said, you made the statement, what was it? I will not have anyone but a ninth dimensional frequency.
A few years, because I started understanding anything less was still too human because the human programming was still too strong. And so I'm like, you know what? You bring in people that their heart, because ninth dimension is your heart is open, Arcturian. And then you get into, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. You can be, 13th for me is Christed consciousness. 15th is God consciousness. And I've been functioning from these levels of consciousness for years. The only thing is that having others who function at the same level of consciousness, you basically have to bring them into your consciousness and they have to be exposed to your field. And you basically have to bring them into that consciousness too, which is what Eve and I have been doing for the last year and a half. As she comes in, I bring her into this consciousness. I teach her. I share everything with her. She goes back. She clears the program. She shows back up. And we've been building relationship, building. And you're basically grooming the others so that you all can function at the same vibrational frequency. It takes a huge investment on our part to be in each other's realities. Yeah. Every person's got to be fully invested with everything they are and everything they have too. because you move out of twin relationships where you're there to trigger each other's stuff into divine soul union and partnership, so that every person comes in is a partner in this relationship, a partner in every capacity. And we're partners. We're all equal. Everybody has the same capabilities. Everybody can contribute. Everybody can share. But everybody's got to show up and be willing to. Otherwise, you have to go apart again. And for a while, it's going to be show up, go apart, show up, go apart. It's like this a whole lot. And it's like a revolving door for a lot, too. And you'll notice that there are times that you're supposed to have a short exchange, because we exchange light codes when we come together. It's beautiful. You activate light codes when you come together. And there are purposes, and there are certain relationships that you can see long advance. You know before everything comes. You've called it forth. You're never surprised when anything happens anymore. In the beginning, you're always like, oh, this is magic. But then after everybody's in love. Well, we love magic. We live in magical realities 24 hours a day. But we're never surprised when something happens here, because we've been working for it all these years. We've been waiting for it to show up. So we're not surprised. It is the materialization in physical form for everything that we've transmitted out. And you have to hold that vibration long enough for that physical reality to take form. You have to create that physical reality yourself from your highest vibrational consciousness. And you have to hold that state of consciousness for the physical to take physical matter form. So if you go unconscious, you disconnect from the ability for that to occur, and you stay in that dimension until you've cleared that program and become conscious, and then you vibrate back into that reality where that exists. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And I love what you said about having the 12 aspects of a human.
My 12 aspects, they all do different jobs. One builds my website, one cleans the house, the other one does the energy sessions, the other one does sessions, the other one teaches. I mean, and they wonder why we're so busy. And what will happen is, as you embody these 12 aspects and move in the crisis consciousness and God consciousness and all these different levels of consciousness, then other people will come in and you check and see if they can fulfill that role in your bigger picture. Because then we move into galactic, which goes into a very different place. You become the nexus point. And then what will happen is when people come together, you move out of being the center of attention, and it becomes the purpose, and humanity becomes the nexus point.
Okay.
And then everybody steps off from being the center of attention and the one who's responsible for everything, and your soul purpose becomes the nexus point of the galaxy, and each person is a galactic, is their own galaxy that revolves around their own planet. Does this make sense?
Absolutely it does. I'm just writing a couple of notes, and I don't write too many notes.
What happens is that for a while, you're going to be the universe, and you're going to work your ass off, and you're going to get your new reality set up as a universal being. As you maintain universal consciousness, as your body goes through the physical stuff and all the neural pathways open up and all the ancient centers and the knowledge comes forth. And so it's a very physical and physiological process we go through here. Okay. And then what will happen is, once you become the whole universe, and you've been the universe for a while, and you've established yourself and proven yourself on a human level, that you can come from honor and integrity, that you can be trusted. Because most people don't understand, you're establishing a level of trust and respect and integrity with each other. And so once you've established, it takes time to build these relationships and prove yourself and transcend all of that duality we had inside. Once we get to that place, then we can step out of being the only one in that universe, and each one of us are universes, so we become a multiverse, and we all walk around interdimensionally as the multiverse. Well, what will happen is, on a galactic level, then each person that comes together represents a different aspect of the universe and plays out a different role on a universal level. I'm trying to explain it from different ways of how we understand.
No, I got you.
And so I'm my universe. Eve will be her universe. Her team will be their universe. And we all unite and come together, and everybody takes up the slack and does a different role. And then everybody's receiving, because we've all achieved the ability for full abundance because we've become abundant within ourselves, and we've learned how to share and support and show up every day.
That's right.
This makes
Bring
sense?
bring your lunch pail and go to work. And that's really, that's the way
The difference is our work is it's something that we love. So I love writing for people. I could write all day, every day. Everything I do, I love to do. The linear stuff is the hardest part, because when you function from this really quantum place, doing linear work is challenging with your body. Your body won't support the linear work anymore. So the linear stuff gets to be really challenging. So like Eve comes in and she's like, I can handle that. And I'm like, oh, good. Thank you. Because I can't. And so I've actually had to bring people in these last few years that can do the linear stuff for me, because I can't do it anymore. You can't maintain a quantum state of consciousness 24 hours a day and still function as linear as we just did. I can, but everybody's got to go away while I sit here by myself and I do it all, because it takes more time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So anyway, this is a very different existence that doesn't fit into what reality is on a human level. It doesn't.
Exactly.
The only thing is that New Earth is each person being their highest aspect all of the time and stepping into those roles. Anchoring the ninth dimensional template in now means it's available for every person to be that aspect of them. They're ninth dimensional and above. Which means pure heart. And it gets into, once you move into that, when I activated Arcturian energies, this love just flooded through me. And for 3 days solid, I just cried tears of just pure joy. It's this most profound, pure love that you've ever felt. And there's no words to describe. And human love can't even come close. They're not even in the same ballpark. But once you remember, this is called remembering. Once you remember the purity, once you remember how things are supposed to be, once you remember all of this stuff, all the information comes forth and the knowledge and stuff like that too, you now have the tools and the capability to share and elevate the consciousness of everybody and bring everything into a higher state of consciousness too. And as each person does this in their own reality, look at the ripple effect of what happens for our planet.
Yeah.
Which is why it takes everybody doing this.
Yeah.
You know, so the importance, the tricky part is, in the beginning, we don't think that we're important, and we don't care about ourselves, and we don't love ourselves, not on the level that we need to. Yeah. And then we come to love and respect ourselves, and we don't care about anybody else. We let everybody else go. And then it's time, okay, now everybody, you know, everybody's important, everybody's special, nobody's more special than the other, everybody's equal here. The only difference is how unconscious or conscious somebody is, and how easy it is to bring something into consciousness, and how much resistance there is.
Right.
The more ego, the more resistance. And what we started to understand was, don't worry about it. Put the information out there, create the opportunity, flood the whole earth with the knowledge, and just keep going. Don't worry about it. Everybody they'll connect with the information. For my work, it took people years. A lot of times, you know, I still have people go, I've been reading your stuff for years. I'm just now starting. It makes total sense to me. That's because they had to acclimate to that vibration within themselves so they could understand me, which is a soul level. When I write, I write on a soul level. I write on a galactic level. When I write and I share from that expanded place, because that's where I live. I don't ever contract back down or disconnect. If I do, like every new moon, you're going to be more human. You're not going to have as much light. Yep. Every new moon, you're going to be more human. There's more human programming. All of your old programs and stuff, people will start to show up. All the users, manipulators, they'll all show back up again. That's because you have to exist on your own light. And if you don't have your own light, when you hit the new moon, that's where the void space hits. We enter into a template clearing that goes on for days after that. There's massive anchoring. That's when all the solar flares occur, you know, and those knock the body down so the DNA can accelerate reprogramming and recoding and all of this. And so as we go through this, you'll become more human because you're about to go through a void space. Well, our voids last for 2 seconds. They're like, oh, blip, done. But the human void can last for years.
Yeah.
Because the void space is like a black hole. It's what sucks the energy and stuff. But once you fill that black hole, if you will, with your own light, then there's no black hole anymore. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so when you hit the new moon, right? When you hit the new moon, you're functioning on a human body again. Your light body depletes. So you don't have any energy for other people. So we have to pull away more. Now the gateways are 24 hours a day. Now everything is always happening at an accelerated rate, at an increased, the cosmic frequencies. Every planet is inside your body. So Mars coming in, that's going to be really interesting.
What was that, Mars?
Mars.
Yeah, he followed me around for like 4 days this week. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Well, Mars has many purposes, but Mars is the ruler of, I'm going to get into a lot of stuff here, but Mars, if you look at what Mars dictates, in the old days, Mars represented our separation, strong Atlantean distortions and stuff like that. Were relative to the Mars energy. And so when you get into some of these, if you have any separation inside of you, you're going to go through that. For those of us who function as energy, your energy body, when you function as energy, then Mars is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but Mars is going to take people into the root chakra.
That's what happened to me. I went out 4 days out of 5, and I walk out and I'm in perfect alignment with it. And I felt it in my root, and then I heard it tell me, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad thing. It just said, I'm here. Yep. I'm here. We're going to clear some stuff out, and I'll be around for a while. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, well, and this is the beauty, is that Mars energy, the reason we were excited about Mars is Mars, if I'm not mistaken, I don't do all of that stuff. I do it from my own seeing. Yeah. I don't look anything. Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, Mars has to do with ruling energy. So notice what you just said, that you're going through. It's on an energetic level. It's going to be a massive root chakra clearing, which is where our biggest form of separation emanated from, but it was located in the whole body. So like each organ. That's why the lower half of the body represents the lower realms, and the top half of the body represents the higher realms. And so you're going to oscillate between the lower half and the top half each time you're working in a different part of your body and stuff for a while. Right. Then once your body becomes a universal body, then you're going to have light zoom, 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 and up and down and all around all the time, because you don't have the lower realms and the higher realms anymore.
Right.
Okay. And then we have different light body phases, and we have to go through all of them eventually. And the beauty with the new templates that I wrote the other day is by the time we hit the 2020 timeline, then that's all avatars, embodied avatars. Mm. So the next couple years are going to be accelerated to bring everybody into their own avatar consciousness. For me, hitting avatar consciousness a few years ago, it was like a 2-year, what do you call it? Initiatory phase, because we have initiation and passageways that we have to go through and all. And then hitting the 2222 code, which correlates to that, which is service to humanity. And so embodying that one hits the body really hard. And so, it'll take it down. We have, the frequency light upgrades flu will run through the body every time our bodies are being detoxed really strongly, which will usually correlate to a Syrian activation that's going on. Syrian, for me, I look at Syrian and Lyran, they always come together. And Syrian being, you don't have masculine, feminine, but they do tend to have more of a energy trait. And so Syrian tends to have more of a masculine energy, where Lyran is the feminine. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And so, like this morning, we got up and it's Syrian first, and then the Lyran energy comes through right behind it, which is the LIONSGATE. But they're always together for me. And
so it's like the kick in the butt and then the hug.
It pretty much, yes. And so, this is going to be really powerful because of the avatar codes that came through a couple of days ago are now everybody who's ready to embody all of these higher self aspects and ready to fulfill these higher roles. It's now available on a collective level. So the ninth dimensional template, I'm going to say this and nobody cares, okay? But I have to do it to give as an example.
Mm-hmm.
For me, years ago, embodying the ninth dimension, I had to carry it for years along with all these other dimensions until the collective Gaia completed the process for it to become a collective thing. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so that's why I wrote the piece about we don't wait. We can embody the ninth dimension within us. We don't have to wait for the collective. What this means is now collectives are now going to receive those avatar codes as they're ready.
And that was the 2222.
The 2222 is just one of them. But yeah, the 2222 code.
That was huge 2-3 days ago. And I kept seeing it everywhere.
It'll knock you on your ass. It took me down when I went through the 2222 code for the very first time. It started on January 1st. The words were go back to bed. You're going to integrate. Well, I didn't know that meant for 3 weeks. Knocked on my ass is an understatement because my body had to fully integrate the 2222 code, which is a whole reworking of the entire nervous system and immune system. It's huge. Every light body has a different nervous system. So we go through all of this reworking of our body in order to embody these higher self aspects and merge them all as one. So like, unless I have somebody come into my reality that is like really full blown ego, I don't have to shift into any one of my aspects individually anymore. I can be Syrian, Arcturian, Andromedan, Lyran all simultaneously at the same time and emit and transmit all these codes just through my presence and my essence and go about my day. If I have somebody come into my reality that's like really full blown ego, that's like really stepping over the line, then I got to pull my Syrian outer God consciousness and I got to get bigger and I got to break it down.
Yeah.
And so I can pull it out if I need to pull it out, but it's always from love.
Yeah.
And so they will always be told, I love you, but this is not acceptable. I love you, but no. I love you, and you'll send them off to go figure things out. You'll send them off like children. Go figure it out yourself. Go work through it yourself. Go pitch your temper tantrum somewhere else yourself. You will invest your time and energy in those who are as invested as you are.
Yeah.
And that's where your new relationships come from, is those who are fully invested and who truly do care too. And you have, this is the thing, we don't all have the same common purposes. So like some people are like, I have to be out on the earth every day. For me, I'm in here doing computer work and I'm happy inside, where somebody else is like, I don't want to be inside all day long. So how we come together matters too, because our roles are very different and they have to be compatible and cohesive, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So if you get like a whole group of people and their job is to go out and work on the earth, then it's going to be very different than another group of people. Our goal is for all of us to unite, to all be doing those things, while some people will be doing that physical part.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing the other physical parts. Everybody does a different physical part.
Yeah, that's an important distinction, because I think some of what we were seeing is, hey, I've got this idea. Hey, I got this idea. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do that. Come do this. Come do that. And you're right. Everybody's finding their own unique part of it.
Well, and we, to be able to coexist in the same space and really care about each other and everybody on a soul level. If each person is truly connected on a soul level, then everybody can work together. Everybody can come together. But if that person hasn't come to that place inside of themselves to function from that depth of their own soul, then there's also still going to be a lot of programming going on.
Yeah.
And that programming is what screams loud. Those distortions are loud and they're intolerable.
Yeah.
They
They're
really
getting
are.
louder and louder.
That's
That's why
because
I'm
that's
just going to keep
photonic.
surrendering.
Okay, so here's what photonic light does. Photonic light shows you where duality and polarity exist.
Okay.
Photonic light exacerbates distortions because it increases communication through the electromagnetic field.
Okay.
Photonic light allows you to close your eyes or go to sleep and travel through your consciousness to all the other dimensions easier so that you can clear old timelines. So the heavy duty sleeps are clearing old timelines. Okay, so we don't remember anything. That's because we're clearing. So when I go to bed every night, it's like clear, activate new realities. Okay, universe. I'm always in gratitude and appreciation. I'm always in that highest place. I don't ever take anything for granted. I don't ever go unconscious or forget anything, and I always share. But I also am always observing the programming because you're observing and you're checking to see what's in the way. And if anybody's in their ego, it's going to be in the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and another thing that's come out too, and I bet other people are experiencing is it's like self-care. I'm starting to really take care of myself. And
that's your light body kicking in, by the way.
And if I want to go next door and get a bite to eat, I say to myself, hey, you can spend an extra $5 or $10 and get something that you want. I mean, treat yourself. I mean, what's a better way to serve yourself? Give gratitude to yourself.
Well, you have to treat yourself because it helps keep your vibration high too. Because what will happen is we all do the inner work so much. We all dedicate our energy so much each day that you have to treat yourself all along the way.
Yeah.
And so you become like it. Yes. You have to learn to treat yourself. You have to learn how to give yourself some time off, take a break. You have to step back. You have to pace yourself because of how much we do. Constantly pace, constantly pull away, constantly integrate, constantly. But we function from the slower you go, the more expanded your consciousness is.
Yeah.
The deeper inside you go. And so we have this joke that if I want to get up and go anywhere, I got to start 3 hours early because I'm the slowest person on it. Because you walk in this meditative energy flow. Now, if I need to speed my body up, I can speed my body up without speeding time up.
Yeah.
You can move your body through space and still bring time to a halt. You can do all these cool things when your brain speeds up on a human level, time speeds up. That's why everybody's got to get out of their head and move to their heart, because when you come to your heart space, then you move to universal time, which coincides with Gaia and the universe. And time ceases to exist and you're one with everything. And so you move through time.
Right.
At a different speed and pace. It's very different here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of time moving through you.
Right. It moves from inside of you. So that's why the gamma is so important, is because what it does is gamma will obliterate the old programs. Gamma will stimulate your physical body to clear all the distortions out. Gamma will activate your light so that you can produce, do. But what you'll find is that when you run out of light, your body will go kaput right then. And so we literally do run on light. So when I do my events, I can go for 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 hours without missing a beat. Once I hit about the 20-hour mark, my body says, okay, you're about done, because I've used all my light.
Yeah.
And then you go to bed to regenerate and build light again. And so when we sleep, we're not sleeping. Our light bodies are regenerating.
Yeah.
And our human bodies are integrating so that they fused become the same thing. If you deplete all your light, then your body, you revert back to a human body, and that's where all the lack stuff comes back in.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all tied together.
It's all, yes, it is. And so this is where your light becomes your value, though. Your light is what is going to support you. Your light is going to pay for your realities. I'm putting this in very basic human terms. Okay. Your light is your value. So if you don't value your light, then you don't value you. You don't value the light of each other. You don't value the energy of each other. Light, energy, soul. And so you will be taught to respect your light. You will be taught on a human level. We all get taught to respect each person's energy, respect the time. See, for us, time is energy.
Yeah.
Time, energy, money, all the same thing. Abundance, all the same thing. If I waste my time, I'm wasting my energy, which means I'm wasting my abundance. I'm wasting all these things. So you learn not to waste your time. You focus your energy. You focus your consciousness. You focus your breath. And you put it into the things that are going to bring the things to support you, and everybody else is going to be in your reality supporting too. Each person moves to service to humanity after they've come to love and respect themselves fully. After or as. You come first for a while. You have to let the whole outside world go, and you have to quit caring about what everybody else thinks or what they're doing, because it's not your business.
That's right.
What your business is what you're doing. You clean your own yard up.
That's
you
right.
clean
You
your
handle
own
your
body.
shift. You handle your shift, and I'll sweep my shift up. But the other thing I noticed too, because I love what you said about the body's voice. I really hadn't.
Telepathic communication with your body is what I used to call it.
And then the other thing I'm finding too is my ability to instruct my body. Like, you know, it goes like that.
Well, you're going to love one even more than that. You can actually activate all new realities just by claiming them and calling them forth here. And then you get up each day and you do what's fully aligned, and it pulls the reality to you.
Yeah.
You don't seek anything ever again. You get up from this deep and deeply connected place, and you do whatever is fully aligned that you saw while you were laying in the bed and couldn't do anything. You're going to be seeing all the other realities.
Bravo. Yeah.
You write them down, pen and paper, write them on. You won't be able to remember them. When you get up the next day, you're going to go, oh, crap, I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
Write it all down, and when you get up the next day, that's your list from your higher self for your human to get up and get busy.
Yeah.
And what I started doing was I would write it all down because I couldn't retain the vibration at the time. Now I can do 12 billion things simultaneously, and I don't forget because it's all mine. It's inside. It's you know, I write notes to myself. I have papers everywhere. I can just go pick up a piece of paper. You are constantly in creator mode. Create. It never stops.
Yeah.
You will be so creative. You will be completely abundant too, because all the things you're creating are supporting you and everybody else that's a part of that too.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
There's no more coddling. There's no more making exceptions. There's no more, will you do this for me? Special attention. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
When you move into working for the mass consciousness, then you're doing for everybody. Now it's their responsibility to go figure it out. Now it's their responsibility to choose. Now it's if they don't want to, fine. You don't really care. You're focused on what you're here to accomplish, be, and do, because you're going to receive based upon what you're transmitting out.
That's right. That's right.
And each person has the capability too. What they don't understand is that their ego will always be challenged. That's what the light is. The ego will always be challenged to figure it out. The ego will always be challenged to step up more. The ego will always, and as you realize this, you just get up and you push yourself because you don't want to be pushed anymore. A timeline collapse will push you on an ego level.
Yeah.
Your whole reality will collapse if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to manage so many realities through consciousness, is because we're keeping all these different realities going simultaneously, and you can't let anything get out of whack. Does that make sense? Because they're all vibrational.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say heart pays in hearts. Yeah.
Well, and the beauty is all the energy we used to put into the old unconscious stuff, you turn around and focus, and you focus it on consciousness.
Yeah.
You focus it on creating. You focus it on showing up. You focus it on sharing your gift, and you call forth all of the others who care too. You call forth all of the others who are just as invested too. You call forth all of the others, and you just keep saying, okay, universe, bring me this, bring me that. And on a human level, you just keep saying, bring me this, bring me that. And then you get up each day. But what'll happen is the human aspect doesn't say, bring me this. It wishes.
Yeah.
No, that you'll be there forever.
Yep. There's a difference. Yeah. I don't know what is the word for it? It's not a demand and it's not a command. It seems to be like something right.
It is a command. It's a command as your higher self. It's a command where you're basically, you call them forth in order. Basically what you're doing is you're speaking through light codes, and you're activating in that other dimension, if you will. I'm going to break this down this way, where those realities have already occurred. Those of us, as your body, as you go inside and you gain telepathic and pineal access to everything again, you get to see all the other dimensions that have already occurred, and you just get up and go do them.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
But you can't see if you can't allow yourself to dream, if your body's vibration is too low, if you're functioning from your root chakra and survival mode and blame mode and all those things you can't see, which what will happen is that we stay in those realities until all that energy is gone. Well, you have a choice. You either work through it yourself, or you're going to stay there until that you break.
Yeah.
And so we learned a long time ago, each one of us have the capability to step up every day and say, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this, universe. And you take your universe by your hand and you say, come on. And on a human level, you become one with your universe by listening to your universe and letting it run the show.
Yeah.
And you just call forth the realities. You see them and go, okay, bring me this one, bring me that one. And for me, I don't even care. I'm like, universe, just bring me the next awesome reality. Bring me the magic. Bring me this. Bring me. And it's like my 24 hours a day. And it does.
Beautiful.
But not the way you think it's going to. It brings people. It brings opportunities. But this is where we have to learn to be able to pay attention to the vibration. Because the moment you settle for less, you close the door on more.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's right.
Does that help?
No, I love it, man. I love talking to you. We've been talking for 3 hours and 16 minutes.
It's not hard to do, is it?
No.
This is awesome. I would say happy Lionsgate to everybody, you guys.
Yeah. And I don't know if everybody was here, but we didn't talk beforehand, so we actually just went right into it. But are you working on anything? Are you coming out with anything? You mentioned something about a class you were teaching. Yeah, you do, don't you?
I don't ever stop. We have so much that we are doing. And what we do is that, I have a new email series coming out about transitions to New Earth, and it's helping people. I'm using my own journey and going through parts I haven't ever shared, really, but I'm using it as the example. And I walk people through on a quantum level. We go through all these different things and weave through them. And it's a weekly series that I've been trying to get it out for 2 weeks. I'm a little bit behind, but you don't get behind. You just do it when it's ready. So
this is from subscribing and then you email it out?
It's an automated list that I'm writing all of the pieces now and putting them up. And so when somebody signs up, once I make the sign up available, which I was going to launch today, but I need another week. So it'll probably be next week. But it's it explains how all this works in a different way. And so it brings people through with me, and you feel like you're there with me, which is kind of cool. But it's about transitioning from old Earth to new, which can't be done in one email. So it's probably going to run for months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot on our part to produce and do all these things. So it's quite an undertaking. So right now, as soon as it's available, we've got fundraisers we're going to be doing where we're raising the funding for all of the huge projects that we're accomplishing and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So, there's tons there's classes. I'm always teaching classes. We've got, eventually one day we'll have the center here on the island. That's another one of the projects that's been in play for the last many years. That will be a huge part of assisting not only the island and the community, but also everybody that flies in. So we've got tons, because people don't understand that we basically have to raise all the funds for everything that we do. And so we work, you know.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? That's the way it works.
But the cool part is it's all aligned on a soul level, and it's all pure.
Yeah.
And it's all for humanity. And so it's all supported, and everything comes when we hit that vibration and we accomplish that next thing. That's why you don't sit around waiting for one day. You get up and start, and then the rest stuff gets activated to come forward.
Yeah.
And so I always have tons. I'm writing all the time. I've got book publishing out the yin yang to do.
Wow.
So I'm republishing 3 books. I got 2 written. I'm republishing them. I'm going through Balboa. I'll do the 3rd one. Meanwhile, Taiwan, and they're going to be translated in Chinese. Eve has taken care of those, and so they're going to be done over there for Asia and stuff. So we've got, a lot of my work is translated in all these different languages. So it's just, they're massive projects, and it takes a lot of our focus energy to accomplish them all.
Yeah.
But anybody can always go to my website, and I announce things. They can sign up for the newsletters. They can read years of activations. Every article I write is a light encoded article and a teaching. Everything I write and I share. On top of, I have free stuff all over my site for years, and everything I do. And then the other things that fund the projects or support the people or the things that we need to do, we charge for those, because that has a specific purpose too.
Sure.
So, we have classes. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, always teaching, because the interactive stuff is where people really get it, because we actually go in and we break the programs down. So when somebody comes in, you can see them, hear, see, feel them, and you just go straight through and break the whole thing down, which is really cool, because the moment you break it down, they can shift that entire timeline themselves.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of breaking programs, but everything, you name it, all of it. I held up on retreats for a while because they're a massive undertaking, and so we'll resume those again. We're going to be focusing a lot on highest consciousness business. I
like that.
We left higher a long time ago. We're about evolving business from the very highest consciousness place, and all of the teachers and practitioners, and focusing on, so in addition to the individual stuff we've been doing, then we're going to be offering the stuff, we've been doing all this for years, but making it like a bigger production so that we can do more. So, everything, you name it. It's all
your stuff looks a lot different even than from like a June. I mean, it really does. It's put together real well, which is probably a representation of the way you've got everything set up in the first place.
That's because Eve and them have started helping me with some of the workload.
It looks good.
The workload got so intense that they took up some of the slack, which they've become my godsend. I call them my godsend. They're taking up a lot of the slack so that I can actually focus on some of these other things, and creating the artwork that goes out, and the placards and the quotes and all that kind of stuff to allow me to write for people. I had to stop writing for a while because I was too inundated, and so now I'm trying to write. So that's why.
I totally get that. Yeah. I'm trying to do the website for Soulology now, and I'm just like, But no, I get what you're saying. I'm glad you shared that about the 12 aspects, and there's so many other things on here. I'm going to go back and watch this. I really appreciate you coming on.
Look at the website. Look at the website. The website's going to change every day. Okay. Yeah. So make it very basic and simple. All you need is the main landing page, and look at the website. Get you the easiest drag and drop. I use Weebly. It's drag and drop. It's creative. I can put my
drag and drop. Okay.
Yeah, and so the reason I say this is the higher you go in consciousness, the less linear you're going to be. You want something simple.
Yeah.
that you can maintain and that you can update every day. And so, like, I'm in my website every day making changes and updating, but the website is a part of source creator energy. And so what will happen is the website, when you can't do anything and you're in the bed, the website is where you go, because you can lay in the bed and dream up the pictures you want to write. Or when you can't function linearly, believe it or not, you think about a website and think of linear. But if you look at the website as a place for you to play and create and reach people, it'll become fun and it'll be easy, because you'll actually enjoy the website. I love doing my website.
Well, you just cleared something for me.
That's why I wanted to do that.
It just went from like this big mountain to this fun little block, like a little plane blocks.
Your website is a way for you to reach people and to make a difference in their life. And you, if you start a blog, which rename it whatever you want. I don't like the word blog, but start something where you write for people, where from that caring place. You write from people and share for them, because something that will matter. And believe it or not, it's going to be the things that you think are not important, other people want to hear. The things you want to say, nobody cares about for a while. It's all backward. And so the website itself is a place to play and create and get some cool pictures and write the things and put some color in it. And it can be a lot of, and you'll end up actually really enjoying it. And you'll look up and have a website done and you'll be amazed. There was nothing to it.
Yeah.
So
well, the funny thing is, I probably put 4 or 5 together years ago, my old life. But it's just sat here, and I'm like, well, what? I got it to a certain point. I'm like, what do I do? Let me ask you this:
pick the simplest platform. Your ego will complicate everything. Always go for simple.
Okay.
Pick the simplest platform, the one that a dummy could figure out.
Yeah.
Don't try to go complicated. Well, and okay, so now let me say this. I know you're going to ask me a question, but let me say this really quick. Our genius is like a small child. Okay? We don't have the linear construct. So while I might be able to share all this genius information, I am a child that functions from a very pure, simple place. Nothing's complicated in my world.
Right.
Because my ego doesn't come into play. Your ego is going to complicate everything. So bring it back to simple. Your heart is very simple. What's the purpose of the site? To reach people. Then that's all you care about. You don't care about any of this other stuff. Make it really easy.
Right.
And you'll be surprised. Yep. Make it simple. Though the moment it gets complicated, your head has come into play.
Yeah, it makes total sense. That's what it's been. It's like, I got to do this. I got to make this Taj Mahal thing, right?
No, it will evolve as you do. I have 3 websites still, and my 2 from earlier years. And every time, well, actually now I have 4. But I've had many websites over the year. They will evolve as you do. You'll wake up one day and be told, go get a new domain. I have like 20 domains. You just buy them and buy them and buy them, and you grow into them. You don't know why you're doing it in that moment. It might be months or a year.
Yeah.
So you're going to do things that you get shown on a human level to do that you haven't embodied that intelligence, that higher intelligence yet. Yeah. And so it takes a while before that thing will come into fruition. And just so you know, it takes an average of 2 years for certain projects to culminate and come forth. So if you're sitting around waiting for one day, start now, because it'll take 2 years for a lot of these things to create a return. Now, because we're in such high frequencies, they don't take as long. But understanding that certain projects won't come into fruition. They have a gestation period, just like birth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Just sharing that with you. So all the people sitting around waiting for the one day, it'll get started when you get started.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sweetheart. What were you fixing to ask?
No, I'm good. No. I was just going to say to you, if we didn't get a chance to talk, we're genuine. I'm genuine.
Yeah, use genuine. It brings a different feeling through.
I'm genuine. So I just want to know if there's anything I can do for you, the Soul G Network can do for you, to put anything out there. If you come out with anything, or if you have a point person.
I would love for people to reassociate the way that they see everything. And the only reason I say this is because, like people ask me, certain things, so like with me, what do I have? I don't really care. Go to my website.
I just got you. I just got what you're saying. It's that you do it. No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
If, one, realize you are going to have to do the inner work. Everybody's got to do the inner work. There's no getting away from that. It's just whether you're going to do it on your own or whether you're going to be forced and have nothing left. These are the two choices. And so choose to do it on yourself. And those of us who, like me, I have like all the courses and classes and stuff like that. So it's basically each person choosing to do this and then realize you're going to be exactly where we are at some point. So and it's all about respect and support. And, it's, shut up. Okay.
Yeah. That's another great one for today's. If you want something, go get it.
Well, and the thing about it is that the reason we do it the way we do it is we create the opportunity. And so this is what I tell people. Is that your universe will give you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And if you don't take it, it'll take the opportunities away.
Yeah.
And then what's left is desperation.
Yeah.
And so take the opportunities that are available. And because our priorities are very visible to each other and our universe and all that kind of stuff, because our universe is us. When you become the whole universe, you just observe yourself and everything else.
Exactly.
You're in observation mode 24 hours a day. But basically, I'm good. Just put this out. We'll come together and do more things.
I loved it.
People, there's a billion things there. We're always adding more stuff. It's awesome. Bring consciousness into your life with each other. Pay attention to the way you behave. Pay attention to all these things because they matter, because they transmit across all the other dimensions. But I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come join us for some of the events.
I was going to say I can't wait to get to Hawaii and come by for a visit, but I'll make sure I spend about a day at the beach before I come in the door.
Oh, you're so funny. Now I'm talking about the people that work for me with me. I'm like, don't come up to the house until you've gotten yourself inside. But,
wow!
Dude, you can't not hit the beach here. Okay, let me see if I can show you these clouds. Hold on. We've gone. Can you see how pretty they are? Electromagnetic. Yeah. They're just very soft. Yeah. We had a beautiful day.
Is it like that every day in your universe?
Well, it's always beautiful. The energy is always beautiful. Some days it's raining, and rain is great work time for me. So the one reason you surround yourself with nature is because it supports your vibration so that you can do more.
Yeah.
And so surrounding myself with nature gives me the capability to stay focused and accomplish, and it helps you maintain your light body. So when it was time for me to move here, my universe was, you have to move. Yeah. Once I was able to achieve a certain level of light body, I had to move my body to a place that would support my light body, and so that I could continue to expand and embody, because where I was vibrationally wasn't going to support my next phase.
Right.
And so I had to come somewhere that vibrationally could support, so I could be in service fully all the time and my body be supported, which was here surrounded by nature, the vibration of the island. But when you hit this island, your tests start.
Really?
So, yeah. It's going through all these initiation process and clearing all these programs out. And so for a lot of people, they get here and it's quite intense. The energies are intense, but they're beautiful all at the same time. But even when we shifted this year, everything changed. And so coming into the divine, everything was, Kauai used to hold the divine feminine. Well, when the earth moved into divine masculine, Kauai did too.
Oh, wow.
And so it's no longer float around and take what you can and get and be supported. Now you actually have to step up and do something. So this island's been clearing a lot of stuff.
Right
And
on.
it's coming into a much higher vibration too. But the Lemurian energies are really powerful in here, which is beautiful. And it's very pure. But when I hit this island, I went through it too. But it was magical and easy, but I also had to break through anything within me that still had to be cleared too.
Oh yeah.
And so, it's going to be that way for everybody. That's a part of the process. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's we're actually looking for trying to decide what to do, whether to stay here or get another place. We're looking for another place at this point. Because that's the way it looks like it's going to be. The next place is going to serve higher purposes, more than we can actually do here.
Okay.
And so, if that's the case, then that's the way we're going to roll, So when your reality
That's,
starts to shift and change, you go with them,
that's exciting. That's
It is
exciting.
exciting. Oh, yeah. There's so much. We don't ever stop. So it's kind of beautiful,
It is.
So
It is. It is beautiful. You're beautiful. This has
thank
been
you,
beautiful.
guys. Thank you
So
guys for all you guys are doing. It's really important. Keep it up. And even if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. I have a saying, it doesn't matter if you understand, all you have to do is care.
yeah, you're
And if
right.
you
And I love.
care, you
Yeah.
won't care. Does that make sense?
If you care, you won't care. That's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get
So
that one.
let go of the need to know a lot of stuff. Just get on board. Get ready, get excited, know it's going to be amazing and awesome, and it's going to be what you expect it to be. But we're clearing a lot of the old entitlement energy, all the victim energy
Yeah,
collectively. We're watching like massive, a lot
yeah,
of pointing the finger, a lot of blame, and that's just people playing out their own projections and giving their
yeah,
power away still. All the narcissistic energy is going
yeah.
to continue. But hold on, Todd, this is the key. The external narcissist is just saying and doing out loud what your inner narcissist believes.
Ooh, that'll rock you.
That's why I stopped, because your ego is your inner narcissist.
Yeah,
A narcissist plays on emotions, so it's going to use your emotions, guilt, blame, shame, all these things to
yeah,
control you, if you will. And the moment you become aware of this, the external narcissist just represents everything that's not fully pure and love and courage and power from within you. And that's it. But because of where we are with the old dimensions, dissolving, resolving, collapsing, whatever words you want to use, then that's going to increase for everybody still playing in those realities. The moment you clear your inner narcissist within yourself, you
yeah,
won't succumb to that anymore.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
just saying that because you're going to see a lot more of it. Narcissist can be aggressive or passive aggressive, and the passive
yeah,
aggressive is a little bit harder in the beginning to detect. But the
yeah.
beauty is manipulation cannot play itself out if you can't be manipulated.
Right.
So you quit allowing yourself to be manipulated. You
Yeah.
recognize the energies yourself, and you say, no, not anymore. And you about face and you focus your energy and
Create, create, create.
create, create, create. You will find once everybody comes into pure source creator energies, you are constantly creating with every breath.
Yeah.
You are creating, and you have to accomplish. So if anybody comes into your reality that doesn't hold that energy, that it'll actually, I would tell people I have to stop doing 12,000 realities to be with this one person and do one reality at a time. I'd
Yeah.
rather be by myself doing my 12,000 realities on a
Yeah.
quantum level. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And so everybody has to be energetically, to a place where everybody gets this, and your focus is on what you're consciously and intentionally creating individually and together, because there's
Yeah.
no dependency.
Yeah.
There's no give your power away. There's everybody standing full accountable for their self, their energy, and bringing the beauty is you bring together your gifts, you bring together your abundance, you bring together the awesome stuff, and you share that, and it creates more.
That's right.
You don't come together to dump your stuff on people. That's the old way.
And you row your own boat. Row your own space pod.
It's actually quite beautiful. It's very productive. It's a lot of fun. You get to play a whole lot while you work. You play while you work. So the people that we just want to play all day long. Well, you're going to play, but you're going to be broke. So for us, we work and we play, and so you can actually experience the beauty and the abundance. And I want to say this: the more you evolve yourself, you're on a DNA level. The more light your body holds, the more you vibrate into realities that are more vibrant, they're more colorful, the weather's different. So for me, I don't experience what others experience in their reality and world. I have different weather over my house. When I leave my house, I'm like, oh, there's sunshine over there because I always have plasma over my house. Okay. And so plasma is different. You don't have the vibrant sunshine. So I have to wait until certain days and run out and get sunshine and then come back in. And because plasma is pure quantum energy. And so because I maintain a quantum state, then my universe, my weather is always plasma over my house. And you don't have the heat and you don't have the sunshine like you did. You have when you wake up in the morning, you have one sunshine and sunrises, and then it flips over, and then you have a different weather once it flips over. So it's very different here. You're operating with different suns.
Yeah.
Everything, yeah. It's nothing like the old realities were. And the best way I can describe it is that every reality is vibrational. So for like people, when they come here, they can't stay in this vibration very long. All their stuff starts coming up, or they have to go away, or they go to sleep and stuff. The vibration here is so high. You have to be able to hold that vibration. It's going to trigger all your stuff. It's kind of the point. But most people can't stay here very long. And so it's very interesting because the vibrations are so high. And I keep them that way because it's the only way I can function.
Yeah.
You will find you have to keep the vibration really high in order to function. Does that make sense, Todd?
Yes, it does. I've recently, with some very good wisdom from the Divine Feminine, created a portal where I'm at. Everything's in order. I got my shirts are ironed and they're all hung equally. It's not OCD. It's just I got my crystals. I got everything here. Yes, it is. It really is.
Respect for the space. Yeah. It's a connection with the space because you can't do clutter. You can't do chaos with stuff. Yeah. The more stuff you have and the more chaotic it is, the more it interferes with your consciousness.
Yeah.
It has to be clean. So like after I go through a massive integration process, the first thing I do is clean and bring order to the house. And the house will scream, clean me, go get plants. Yeah. It will actually communicate with you and tell you, and I can feel the house when it starts to get dirty. And you get up and you clean out of respect. It's all vibrational.
Yeah.
And so, when I right before I go into accomplish work, I will clean first. It's also getting your body back into a linear mode, because when you're cleaning, your body's moving back into a linear mode.
Yeah.
So I will clean, and then while I'm cleaning, my brain is working, and then I can actually go do linear work. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, because there is a difference. I'm learning.
There is.
I mean, I'm just learning, but I walk around sometimes wondering, what the hell am I doing?
You're going to do that a lot. You're going to walk around foggy, groggy. You're going to walk around foggy, groggy a lot. There's a lot of foggy, groggy because those are the veils. That's photonic light, and you're walking in a lucid dream.
Yeah.
And so technically, you're in a dream state in the waking state.
That's when I got here 3 weeks ago to this place I'm at now. The day I got here, I had that transmission. I thought, wait a minute, it's just flipped. You're actually in a dream. Everything's cool. You got nothing to worry about. It's
Yep.
just, you're walking in dimension. You're just in a dimension that's a little bit different than the other ones. And
Yep.
it was a great feeling. It just came in and it stayed with me for a little while. Then
Yep.
then the grogginess. Then I went into the laundromat, the washateria here, which is a small room. I was there for about 20 minutes trying to figure out, what am I doing here? Yeah. I was just like, I don't even know what to do.
Yep.
I mean, it was funny.
You'll now the cool part is that in your other states of consciousness and the other dimensions, you're working in those. So sometimes when you can't function in these, you're working in the other ones, and our consciousness is spread across all dimensions. So like the other day, I couldn't do anything, but I was walking around, I was watching all the other dimensions and us working everything out. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't need to really do a whole lot. And I did what I could. I cleaned house, but I couldn't do any linear work. And I told Eve, I'm like, oh, the new reality is about to just show up. Because we're doing them over in the other dimensions. Just take a break and just do linear stuff. And so what will happen is you will wake up. Once you've slept, you get to enter the next dimensional space. So when you wake up, you're not in the same reality you were when you went to sleep the day before, but humans think they are.
I gotcha. Very cool.
It's very cool. Isn't it? Don't you love multidimensionality?
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm totally. I enjoyed it so much last time.
Yep.
I enjoyed it so much this time.
Yep. Now I want to tell you this. Every time you expand into this beautiful magical space, for a while you'll contract back down again, back into the space that isn't magical, because it's showing you everything that's not aligned.
Okay.
And your job is to see what's not vibrationally aligned and get it aligned. Move out anything that isn't done, that needs to be accomplished. Move through everything as fast as you can, because as soon as you do and go to sleep, you're going to jump into the next timeline.
Literally. Literally go to sleep. Yeah.
When you literally go to sleep. Yes. And so there will be days, I got to get this done. I got to get all the emails done. I got to do this, because you're about to shift and jump. And so you will have a feeling and you'll know. But it's really important to understand that you're able to wake up in a completely different reality than the day before. And everything that you've waited for is coming because you cleared it all in your sleep. You've been interacting, all these people, the email that like, you were with me last night in my sleep. Yes. I can see myself teaching masses of people. I can see all of the realities. When you become fully conscious, you're also fully conscious in the sleep state too. So you don't ever sleep again. It's very different. You're always working. You're always doing stuff. You're always connecting. You're always reuniting. You're always clearing. It's a very different state than it was before. And so for a while, getting used to that, going, oh, am I never going to get another night's rest? No, not like the old days. No. Yeah. Because you're basically always moving into the next vibrational higher version of a dream, literally. And the foggy groggy is anchoring that light, photonic light, in your body and recoding your DNA so that your body can transmit the new reality that plays for you to walk in the next day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I don't have to feel bad about it.
Oh, no. I'm just sharing all this because, it can't be this easy if we get out of the way. It can be this easy if everybody gets on board. It can be this easy as everybody's ready. It's just that, in each one of us, that's the beauty of the 9th dimensional template. We're moving into the 12th dimensional template. And so it's going to be really interesting, because this is collective templates now, which means it's available for everybody who's ready for that. But everybody who's ready for that has to do the inner work and bring their vibration up, and get their body's vibration up, and be very responsible for what they choose and transmit out in their words and what they invest. Notice the word investment. What you invest in becomes your physical reality for you to experience here. Time, energy, money, all of those things. And so choose wisely, because that's why we take great care in the things that we allow, is because we understand how responsible we have to be. We understand that we're the one that are going to suffer if we don't. We understand that it's our reality, and we are the ones that are doing this with our body. And so being that conscious and present and aware within yourself means that the physical reality can now respond to you vibrationally based upon what you're transmitting out. Being conscious means that you are conscious of your transmission of every cell in your body. And on a human level, the human aspect isn't conscious of their body's transmission because they don't know what's in their cells.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I said you can hear your body talking to you, so this is how I describe it. Your brain, your ears translate in words those things that humans call thoughts. They are translating the frequencies located in your cells to your head so you can hear them. That's it.
Wow.
Okay? So when you hear a lower vibrational program, that's coming from somewhere in your body so that you can hear it. If you're not present and listening to inside, you have no clue. And if there's a lot of emotion, you get caught up in it. So you separate the emotion and the thought, and you work with them separately.
Okay.
You break the belief system down. You break it down yourself, and you recreate it according to a whole new belief system, one that's aligned with your highest everything. And so when you're listening inside of your body, Todd, you're hearing all the different vibrational frequencies, and you get to discern and decide which ones you're going to believe.
Yeah.
The more in tune you are with your body, the more you can activate those encodements through the key codes that are available to each person. Everything I write is a key code. Everything I write and share, every class I teach, everything I do is light encoded. It activates those key codes. You don't have to understand it. It's multidimensional. It does it for you. You just have to do the conscious work, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not you. I'm talking to anybody.
No. It's talking to me.
But for you, every word you hear carries a vibration, and it's something that's located in your cellular body. And if you don't like what you hear, tell your body to clear that program. Clear the program.
Yeah.
Now, this is the tricky part. When it shows up in your physical reality, if you're not conscious, you don't understand that your programming transmitted and called that forth.
Yeah.
If you don't like what's standing in front of you, then change the programming.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I got that one.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. I don't have it. I mean, I'm getting it. When I say get it, if I say anything like that, there's an ing on the end. I'm surrendering.
If you follow any of our work, anybody that, somebody said the other day, you say the same thing over and over. The reason being is because we say it in different ways. We say it over and over because you're basically breaking through the human programming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to flood your consciousness with higher consciousness to break through that programming, to pierce those veils. Now, the beauty is these frequencies will do that for you. And anybody that wants to enhance the frequencies for their light body to activate, go get earplugs.
You told me that last time.
And wear them, pull away, listen to the frequencies and tones. You can become very interactive with you. There's messages embedded in them.
Yeah.
And so when you start to listen to them and stop labeling stuff with the old way, it's really important to stop defending, stop offending, stop all the old stuff, and kind of just let it all go and surrender. Like you said, surrender is the biggest part of this journey. We have to surrender everything and be ready to learn everything new.
Yeah.
All over again.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And understand that you know absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I have people tell me, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, I don't need to do nothing. I'm not doing nothing unless I'm supposed to do it. And typically it's some kind of new, almost like a new, neural pathway, a new form of expression, a new paradigm.
Everything. It is. Yes, it is. And when I write, you have to do this, you have to do that. What I'm writing is quantum cosmic consciousness. And when I say you have to, I'm not telling people they have to do anything. I'm telling them if they want this, they do have to at some point.
Yeah.
And so our have to are different. Or have to, or if you want the amazing new earth experiences, then you do have to.
Yeah.
At some point. but the ego gets caught up in the words. Well, I don't want to have to do this, and that's the child and the teenager and stuff. And so we quit worrying about all of those things. And the beauty is the New Earth networking system that we all represent, the infrastructures, the foundations of New Earth. That's all of us, and that's what's uniting all the councils that are embodied here, the Syrian, the galactic councils, all of these things, all the star beings. These codes are calling forth all the star councils.
Yeah.
To step up now.
Far out.
It's very cool.
It is cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, we actually did go 4 hours.
I know we did. Because I know you have another one, don't you?
No, not till later. No, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to. The last time what happened, we went 4 hours and it knocked us off. We couldn't get back on.
I know.
Well, there's a 4-hour limit.
That's it. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. So I want to say thank you to you, Todd. I want to say thank you to everybody out there. I want to say thank you to everybody that's been doing this work for years, that's fully on board, even those who are just now starting to awaken. We've all been doing this for eons, okay? So just be patient, focus your energy, pick your priorities, because it is going to make a difference. If you lose focus, if you get distracted, then you're the one, it's your reality that it's going to affect. And so just, choose. And dedicate yourself and keep going, because the grid work for New Earth is in our body. These structures are in our body. Everything's in the body. And so your whole body has to break the old program down and recode itself and build all new everything. And it occurs every moment, every day that you get up. Whatever you do is creating a reality. Whatever you think is creating a reality. Whatever you're transmitting is creating a reality. So it means being very conscious creation. And divine masculine comes from divine love. But it's also the doing energy, which is what the light body is. The light body is the get her done energy. That's what I used to call it, my get her done energy. And I would get up, get it done, collapse, pass back out, let my light body generate again. Eventually, after years, then your body will store light, and you can go for months at a time on your own light. I don't have to go outside. I go out, now I'm having to get out there more because my body is screaming. But I just upped my vitamin D like a ridiculous amount because my spine has been screaming for sunshine, and I haven't been able to get there. So I jacked up my vitamin D to a ridiculous amount that's unheard of. But because we carry so much light, we need that much. So it's like 10 times the normal human amount.
Wow.
And my body's fine. The moment I did that, my spine quit hurting because my spine was telling me it needed sunshine. So I went to liquid vitamin D, and then I got out in the sunshine yesterday. Your body will scream. It will tell you what it needs.
I'm learning that.
Yep. Listen to it. It'll make it.
I'm surrendering. I told you, I'm surrendering.
Good job.
I'm into the creation.
So here's the thing. Just say this. My ego is surrendering, because you have your higher self aspect. That the moment your ego surrenders, your higher self takes over.
My ego surrenders. My ego is surrendering.
Yeah.
My ego is surrendering.
And then all you have to do is go deeper inside and connect, and you get up and you move from that space. And sometimes you surrender, and sometimes you lay around for hours or days. Sometimes you don't do anything but what your body says to do.
Yeah.
It'll balance out. But I will tell you, there's all along the way, people are like, how am I supposed to support myself? How am I supposed to do that? Integrate the light, and it'll happen naturally for you. Integrate your light, and it will happen easier for you. It's not going to look like what you thought it would.
Yeah,
so I guess that's all I got to say.
That is right. Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
I
really enjoyed it. I'll be coming that way. Eventually, we'll get to Hawaii, and I'll make sure I go to the beach or a park for a while before I come over. I just love that part. I know.
You're so funny, but you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I'm playing with you.
Cool. All right, Mr. Todd.
Peace, love.
Keep making a difference and shining that light and sharing. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Bye, guys. I love you.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
You too, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.